apparently.
All right. Well, they can see us and hear us. First thing they hear, it's always Dan. It's always Dan. Well, that was stupid of me. It's every time. It's amazing. So, hello. Hi. We're playing Vaesen tonight. Adventures in Lollygagging and Friends. Everyone's going to get a chance to do some plugs here in a minute. So we're going to be doing kind of a brand new, maybe one shot, like kind of custom little adventure, kind of Halloweenish. So we'll see how this goes. There's gonna be like Halloween music and such, so we'll figure out how that works. So what we'll do is we'll go through everybody, say who you're playing. We got a new character tonight, actually. So if you haven't seen any of our stuff before, no big deal. We can. All these mysteries are kind of self-contained, but go ahead. Just who are you, and whatever you got to plug. So we'll just go by the overlay. So Dan.
Dan with the Defenders of Cobalt, and I'm the person bringing a new character tonight. Familiar name, Rupatega, replacing Dogmore, because Dogmore just got too beat up, and I figured it was time for him to take a break.
Yeah, he's not dead.
He's not dead.
Yeah, we tried so hard, you and I, to get him killed, but then that little guy down there, bottom row, ruins everything. Mm-hmm. Just shooting blindly happens to kill her, then stitching up wounds blindly.
Right.
So, yep.
I literally started a fire, ran through it, and tried to fight a guy with 2 dogs.
Yep.
And by myself.
Listen,
and I still didn't die.
You did your part. I did my part. Nobody asked Jeremy to do anything, and yet he did his part nonetheless. So
he did his part anyways.
But yeah,
huge jerk.
The 89-year-old Dogmore, who's got 50 long-term injuries, has finally retired. He'll still be around in NPC form, which means he'll pop in from time to time here, as like Kel Master or something like that. But all right, let's move over to Bert.
Hey, I'm Bert. I do a little podcast called Of Steam, Steel, and Murder. Audio only. You don't have to look at me. It's great. I'm playing Gunner Arrowwood, the detective, who's got but one eye these days.
Yeah.
He's been getting really buff on the down season. He's got his little weights going on. He's got some guns now.
Nice. Nice. You lost that to like in a werewolf fight, did you not?
Yeah. Oddly enough, that's how my career started and how it almost ended.
Yep. And Vaesen, like there's a trauma that kind of gives you your ability to see, and Gunner's was a werewolf related, and then in a recent mystery we did, he lost an eye. So yeah. Chuck.
Oh my gosh, that's me, Defenders of Cobalt. You can also catch me here on Free League Publishing every other Saturday, Goodman Games, the opposing Saturdays. But yeah, Defenders of Cobalt. We got stuff going there. We got a zine, Dan dies at the end. But what's important right now is I am still playing Anderson, the professor. For some odd reason, though, the authorities always come knocking on my door whenever someone dies and they're associated with the college. I don't know why it is. They need to just stop.
It's weird. It's weird.
It's weird.
I don't get it. I feel like professors are persecuted is what it is. I'm getting out
I think that,
yeah. This is, I identify with Anders, so making him the star.
Jeff, this is fantasy time. Leave it at work.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. All right. Melissa.
Melissa with Adventures in Lollygagging. You can find us on twitch.tv/thelollygaggers. I am here playing still Sigrid Hogstadt. She is a former gang member who used to be in a gang years ago with Dogmore, and is now a priest. Tries to pretty good with empathy stuff. Pretty good in close combat, surprisingly. That's how she's built. So yeah, that's Sigrid.
Well, she used to be in a gang, so that makes sense, right? She's got some rough and tumble in her, right? So she was in a gang first and then found God, right? That's how this worked?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All
yes.
Right.
But in her, ministering, she's kind of always looking for, kind of helping those less fortunate. So still kind of sticking with her roots.
And we don't have a chapel yet on the grounds, right? Like we still haven't built you a chapel or anything to start bringing a flock in or anything like that.
The earth is her chapel.
Oh.
Ooh.
I'm so sorry.
I don't know.
Flock is a bunch of bums.
Perhaps next time.
Speaking of bums, Jeremy.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm playing Caius Roding. I go out of my way to ruin Jeff's fun. That's just kind of what brings me joy in life. So I try and find a way to make it my character's joy as well. He's a craven, tiny little novelist, but he is the money bags of the group, and he can do automatic writing to kind of channel to get, some insight to what things are going on.
Yeah.
And against all odds, apparently he's been a crack shot in the past couple adventures.
Yeah.
I don't think you missed at all.
He didn't.
He's crazy.
Yeah. It's it's not frustrating me even like at all. Like it's totally okay. Like it's totally fine. No, it's fine. It's fine.
Good.
It's fine.
I'm happy you're happy.
I'm happy too. Okay. And last but not least, Joe.
All right. I am Joe. I am playing Yürgan Leinbaldersön, who is a doctor surgeon who gets a little too into his work sometimes, and apparently is okay with selling his best friend to forest demons. But he kind of deserved it. So that's
He earned
how it
it.
goes.
He did.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
They had a very solid case, and wasn't a whole lot I could do.
If you didn't listen to our last mystery on this channel, we did a mystery called Frogs on Parade, in which Jürgen's old college friend had gone a little crazy and started experimenting on these little Vatir, and the Vatir wanted vengeance, and Jürgen gave her his friend. So
Yeah. He'd got a little too overboard for me to
Sure.
reel him back.
It's pretty hard. It was pretty hard.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and that's it. That's it for the characters. We are going to dive in. We're doing something a little different. Normally, when you play Vaesen, there's like a whole process where you kind of get your little mystery. You go on you start shopping. You go on a journey. Like there's a step-by-step process. But because this is the week of Halloween, I wanted to do something a little bit different. So we're going to try to do a one-shot. Players have already said that they're going to try to ruin that one shot by making it a two shot as we look for tacos for the first 2 hours. But we're going to give it a try nonetheless. I've been watching a lot of horror movies over the past couple weeks. So yeah, we're going to give that a go. We also need to make sure that we understand that, like, I think I have a giant motorcycle going by right now.
I heard.
That was
Yeah.
loud. So we're going to we're not going to have a couple of those steps. We're not going to do things like advantages tonight or anything like that. So you're not going to be able to do any sort of shopping to prep. So no preparation phase or anything like that. So it's a little bit more contained. So you've all done your upgrades to your castle, and let's get it going. So at the end of the last mystery, which was springtime, you all returned. And everyone kind of licked their wounds, spent some time cleaning up the castle. You recruited some new personnel, got a caretaker. You all said goodbye, sort of, at least to the regular crew of Dogmore, who has been spending a lot of his time lately at the local tavern.
We should have just made him the caretaker. Come on.
We could do that. We could just say he's the caretaker. Yeah, but I'm still gonna say he's spending a lot of his time over at the local tavern, the Horn Pub. You gotta say that very slowly, just to be careful. So yes, this game is absolutely amazing, Lori, and I love this game. Vaesen is one of my favorites, I think, from Free League. But we're gonna say, just for the sake of it, he's a little bit off, kind of off in a distance. You all know that it's been a little rough lately, despite Caius's ability to shoot things pretty consistently. I think it's become noticeable that the group could use a little bit more in the way of militant or military type skills, and so through one way or the other, you all have recruited a new member to the group by the name of Rubatega. And so we're gonna say this adventure picks up about a month or two later, in the middle of summer, Midsommar, as the title of this little adventure is. I know what you did last Midsommar, and it's the evening. We're gonna say it's not quite dusk, or it's not quite. it's not quite. It's almost sunset. Like you can see the sun kind of dipping down. It's been a relatively uneventful day. A lot of work is being done on the house. You've got construction crews here that have been working on the workshop that's off on the north side of the grounds, and others that are just kind of still cleaning up. There's still so much of the castle that hasn't been renovated yet. Rooms, entire floors that are just still kind of rubble at this point. Algot Frisk, your butler, has been doing what he can to try to stretch some of the money that Caius has been lending to you all to repair. Even though you were given over the keys to the castle by Linnea, she didn't give you any sort of funds to repair it. So all of that has been left to you. So right now we're going to say that probably Gunnar is showing Rubatega around the castle, a new recruit, fellow member of the society. We're going to say Anders is probably deep in his books somewhere in one of the many libraries that we have. Sigrid is apparently praying in dirt or something right now.
Rolling
Wherever.
around in it.
And it's left to Caius and Yürgan then, as you hear a sudden ring of the doorbell. And you know that Algot Frisk, you saw him, your butler, who normally answers this question for you. He was last seen with Gunnar as they were kind of navigating around the ground, showing Rubatega, your new recruit. And so it's kind of left to one of the two of you, or both, to perhaps answer the door as the ring happens again. Okay, here we go.
Great.
All right, so who ended up getting with the Rochambeau there?
I'm gonna go answer the door. What's the worst that could happen?
Okay. So,
Follow behind, but I'll be like,
okay.
Watching. I won't totally leave him alone.
The door opens, and you see a friendly face. Actually, you see the face of Ava Blomberg, who you met back in the winter. She was the nurse to Linnea Effelklint, who gave over the castle to you all. She is dressed in a very fine and lovely summer dress and kind of bright colors. She's kind of a little bit done up on the face. And you can see standing, kind of walking up the steps behind her, is another face that you all are familiar with, a woman by the name of Nadia Strom, who, when you took over the castle, you actually saved her, as she is your banking contact. And the two of them have kind of arrived here, and you see Ava Blomberg is very happy to see you. Says, "Hello, Caius, hello, and Yürgan, hello. Am I early?"
Oh, we're never too precisely on time. Incredibly happy to see you.
Oh, wonderful. And she's like kind of expectantly waiting to be let in to the castle.
I immediately run off and try and get the butler.
Okay.
Please come in.
We have guests, I guess.
And so Ava, thank you very much. I thought I'd be early, but I'm very sorry, but Linnea couldn't make it, but she sends her regards, and she asks that I come in her stead. And you can see that behind, Nadia is coming up, business-like woman, closely cropped hair, tight crop. She's got the equivalent of a pantsuit on, whatever that would look like in 1840s, and she just kind of comes in following, and just assuming that the door that you leave open is meant for her as well.
Of course. Please come in. Is there anything I could do to make you comfortable?
And Ava is sort of peeking around, you're in the foyer. She's looking back towards some of the other rooms, and are you sure I'm not early?
Well, I didn't know that you had anything scheduled, but I figured you're a friend, and so of course you're not early.
She has this very confused look on her face. I'm sorry, Caius.
I'm usually out of the loop. I have my nose in a book
of course.
12 hours out of the day, so I'm terribly sorry. But I'm happy you're here.
And she pulls out a little piece of paper, and she hands it over to you, and it says, you are cordially invited to a midsummer gathering at Castle Gillenkreutz. Sincerely, and then it lists all of your names. Now, you have absolutely no knowledge of this whatsoever. Yürgan is not here anymore, so you can't turn and ask him. It's just you. You have no knowledge of this. And you can hear Ava kind of like breathing a little bit out of her teeth. I thought there would be decorations, perhaps, or some such.
So again, I am often completely oblivious to the world around me. Clearly there's something wrong with me because I don't recall this. And I'm incredibly sorry, but let me do whatever I can to make this right. Are you parched at all? Could I get you something to drink?
I would love that. And then behind her, you see that Nadia Strum, the, again, middle 50s or so. Caius, did you also forget that we had an appointment today? You specifically wrote to me asking for my advice looking over some of your financials. Did you double book? And again, you have no knowledge of this whatsoever.
Oh my. Wow, that is really interesting, and I'm incredibly sorry for the confusion.
Caius,
I'm gonna go get those drinks.
That drink, please. Oh, that would be wonderful.
Yes.
Where shall we sit? Where is the festivities?
Just working on it right now. As he like rushes to a room to find like any vase that has flowers and setting it somewhere and like straightening something on the wall. And
okay. Meanwhile, cut to Gunnar, Rubitega, Algot, Frisk as here comes Yürgan hustling through the halls and reaches the three of you.
So, Rubitega, correct?
Mm-hmm.
I believe our friend Dogmore might have absconded with your identity a few months back. Interesting.
That's quite bizarre.
Oh,
I'm like, hey, did we schedule anything? There's people here, a lot of people.
Wait, what?
How many people? It was like 4 or something.
There's only 2. There were just 2. There was
Only 2 that
just
showed
the
up?
2. It was
Oh, okay.
Ava and Nadia, who you saw.
release the hounds!
They're our friends, but
Oh, no.
they think that we have something planned tonight. I'm not aware of that.
And Algot looks at you and like, we don't have anything planned this evening, sirs. Did one of you plan something without informing me? It's perfectly fine if you did,
Not
but
me.
I would ask that you tried.
Take out the journal. It's 6 o'clock, cocaine. 7 o'clock, cocaine. 8
I
o'clock,
love that you journal that.
stumble and pass out in the bed. No, my evening is free.
I don't know if that makes it better or worse that you're planning to do that.
Perhaps Mr. Jakobsen or Miss Sigrid, perhaps one of them might have.
I doubt that. they do that
Maybe.
without
I'll just
speaking with you.
continue sprinting.
Okay. All right. And so,
Are they also on the ground somewhere, or are they?
Yeah,
yes.
I'm like in a garden
Okay.
area somewhere.
Well,
Sure.
Rubitega, let us go entertain our guests. I'll have to put off 7 o'clock, perhaps more to 9. Okay, this way.
Be a good opportunity to meet them.
So, Yürgan, you managed to catch up to one of the libraries where you see Anders with his characteristic pipe and some big old tome out, reading along, and there he is sitting down there. And it's just 2 of you in one of the libraries on the 2nd floor.
All right. I like collapse in one of the chairs. I'm like, oh, guests. Did you invite anybody?
No,
It was Ava, you said, and
Ava Blomberg, who was the nurse for Linnea Effelklint, and then Nadia Strom, who was your banker contact.
Ava and the banker.
no, I didn't. But one could never look a reason to drink. You can't look a gift horse in the mouth. So let's get some
All right,
booze
well,
and head
there-
down there.
They're inside. He's gonna stand up and like start stretching, prep himself to keep sprinting through the halls.
Get the
and-
hamstrings going.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
I mean,
You run down the
starts
hall,
running to find Sigurd.
throw open one of the windows on the 2nd floor, and you look out, and there's Sigrid in the grounds, playing with mud. I'm not sure.
I hope all the
Dirty.
dogs are there too.
Definitely
Mhm.
dirty.
You can see her out to
Yes.
the east, over like across the pond towards where the kennels are, and there's some of the dogs barking.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah, I'll
current
lean
flock.
through and just like bang on the side of the house a little bit, like, Sigrid, we have
What?
company. Did you invite them?
No.
Damn it!
So Sigrid's gonna have to like go like put the dogs away. Like, I'll be there in a minute.
Okay.
Okay, and I'll just throw the shutters back and
All right.
keep running.
It's like a Christmas Carol moment. What day is it? What day is it? So Anders, as you're halfway down the stairs, and as Gunnar and Rubatega have now reached the guests, Algot Frisk has now caught up with Caius in the kitchen, who is making an absolute mess of trying to set up drinks for these two fine women, and he's looking at you. Oh my goodness.
I saw somebody like you poured it with a spoon to make sure that it doesn't like it mixes properly. Except I kind of splashed it on the counter, so I got a different bottle, but I dropped that bottle. And I think you put in bitters. Is half a cup of bitters too much?
I'll take care of this, Caius. Why don't you go run and fetch a broom and pail? How about that?
I'm really glad you're here.
Yes, aren't we all? Aren't we all? Okay, so you go. You start running. Okay, so the bell rings one more time. Who wants to fetch this one?
I can. I'll presume I was heading down that way.
Okay.
You hear faint obscenities being yelled in the halls as the bell rings.
So you hear the ding, 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 whatever the hell this sounds like. Okay,
Yeah.
and so Anders, you open the door, and lo and behold, who do you see in front of you? But Detective Rune Magnuson, who is staring at you.
I closed the door.
Yeah, and he quickly jams his foot. I don't think so there, Professor.
Listen, I don't know what you've come to accuse me of today, but I can guarantee you that you're wrong again, as always. So if you would kindly...
You invited me here. What kind of game are you playing, Professor?
I invited you here. Why would I do such a
And
thing?
you see him kind of rumbling through his shirt pocket, and he pulls out, and he hands it over to you, and you see a little note, and it's written in your hand. Like, it's
Oh.
perfect. And
Oh.
it says, Dear Detective Magnuson, I have information I would like to give to you surrounding the deaths and disappearances of certain students associated with the university. Could you please, at your earliest convenience, come to Castle Gillenkrutz? Signed, Professor Anders Jakobsen.
Well, this, my friend, is clearly a forgery. You can tell right there by the way it's written. But we've got some other odd things afoot. So why don't you come on in? That way, in case, something goes down, there's a witness that it wasn't me tonight.
So he kind of narrows his eyes a bit at you. And he says, always playing games, Anders. Always playing games.
We in academia get our kicks off in odd ways.
That's true. I didn't realize homicide was so prevalent in higher learning.
Well,
And he'll
gotta-
push past you like roughly, like just kind of off to the side. And so at this point, Gunnar Rubatega, you're in the room with Nadia Strom and Ava Blomberg, who are both there. They're talking to each other. They see the two of you come in. Ava lights up as she sees Gunnar. Oh, detective! And she comes over and she greets you again. She apologies for Miss Ethelclint, but she is unwell. She might not be with us for much longer, I'm sorry to say. But she said I come and should say hello to everyone, and she sends her best regards.
Gunnar will turn to accept the embrace, tightening up that arm to, to show off his new physique. Oh, it's quite fine. I see they've gotten you drinks. Let me pardon me. I'm going to go and get the good bottle.
Okay. Like, you see her kind of like get a little crestfallen, a little bit rubitega as like Gunnar leaves, and she looks over to you and she's, oh, I'm sorry, I don't think I've met.
No,
And she-
I'm new here.
And
Uh,
who are you?
Rubitega, and I'm here to bring a little extra, combat skills to this group.
And if
'Cause, we heard stories about poor Dogmore, and how he kept just getting wrecked.
She's like, oh, that's right. I haven't seen Dog. What's Sigrid? And at that point, in comes Sigrid, covered in mud, kind of traipsing through the kitchen area, and you can see Algot Frisk is just arms crossed, is looking down at the big piles of mud where your footprints have slapped, and he's just shaking his head. Then he looks over at Caius, who's trying to sweep up but doesn't seem to know how to properly use a broom and pail, and it's like has it a little backwards, and he just sort of shakes his head. And then that's when ding dong, the doorbell rings once more.
More faint obscenities from another corner of the house.
And here comes Yürgan, completely covered in sweat. Just and who's gonna answer it this time?
Sigrid will take the opportunity to stomp through the house. So she sees it as okay, before she goes in the dining room, she's kind of stomping her feet, getting the mud out. So now there's just like mud prints all the way from the kitchen to the front door.
Okay. So you open the door and you see this comely, middle-aged woman, thick as can be. She's just a woman who just looks sturdy. And she's got her hair tightly back, and she's wearing kind of definitely workman-like clothing, but you can tell that she's made an effort to kind of, clean it up a little bit. And you recognize her as the owner and operator of the Horn Pub, your local tavern. Rebecca Nurse is her name. And
Hopefully Dogmore's not over there making a bad reputation for us.
and when we made her in our Session Zero, the only note I took for her is she's good with meat, whatever that meant. I do not recall what that was. I think it was like meat pies or something. But she looks at you up and down. Well, aren't you gonna invite me in?
Sure. Did someone invite you too? We've had a whole lot of people just kind of showing up at the house.
Where's that old codger, Dogmore? We had ourselves a date tonight.
Oh,
Oh no.
I actually thought he was over at your place. I'm sort of surprised you're here without him.
I just came from my place and he wasn't there. And
Well,
you don't think
I
he's
don't-
gonna take me on a date to my own place? That seems very unbecoming.
well, no, I mean, he just hangs out with you over there. So I thought that's where he was. I mean, you can come in because, everybody else is coming in. So welcome.
Sorry, I just answered some questions. Okay.
Yeah.
She kind of pushes past and she says, well, could you go get him, please? She's becoming a bit piratey, I've seen. I don't know why this is happening, but it is.
Did you see him and he invited you over?
No, we had the date, June 24th.
Oh, well, he hadn't mentioned anything to any of us. So,
Dear,
I'll
can you
go-
just go run up and get him?
fine. And so I'll just. Do you want to wait inside?
I think I will. And she sort of pushes past you. You look out and it's gotten dark outside at this point. It's definitely dark. And she comes
So
over.
Sigrid doesn't really feel like going upstairs, and Sigrid's going to be like, Jürgen.
I'll be just coming down the stairs, pause and just get a moment, what?
Turn around.
Rebecca's here for Dogmore. Is he upstairs?
Yeah. It'll start back up.
So you go running, you go from door to door to door. And you go from door to door to door. You're trying to remember, because all of you basically have rooms on the second floor. And everyone's, and there's plenty of other rooms too that aren't even occupied. And even Even your guard and your butler stay on the grounds, and your newfound caretaker, in the case of Dogmore, he's still staying here. But you go over to Dogmore's room. You knock on it a couple times. It's no response. You open the door. You look in, and he's not there. His bed is made. Smells like wet dog in here. But you don't see him
Nothing out
at
of the
all.
ordinary.
Yeah, wet dog and a little. Is that cologne? Do you smell cologne? I think it might be a little cologne. Yeah. But you don't see him. Check the washroom. Run down the hall. Look at one of the washrooms. You open the door. Nothing in there either.
Okay. Where else would I know that he normally is at? Do I know his second go-to spot in the ground? Kennels.
Yeah. That's
And
where the dogs are.
Sigrid was just in the kennels putting the dogs back
Mm-hmm.
before she came over. Did she see him over there in the kennels before she came over to the house?
You did not.
Okay.
You're gonna be like, he's probably at the kennels on the opposite side of the grounds.
Sigrid will have heard you, and she'll save you the run and say, "I just came from there. He's not there.
Where is he then?
I am not his keeper. Just saving you a run outside."
Okay. Is there another spot that he might be? Was he with Gunner in the beginning?
He was
doing
not.
Okay.
I know it's easy to confuse Rubitega and Dogmore. It's happened before, but that was
Yeah.
Rubitega, not Dogmore. But no, you. So you run around to the point where you feel exhausted. Go ahead and take a physical condition.
Absolutely.
You just can't. He's not here. Like, he's clearly not here, and it's dark now too, so it's getting a little bit more dangerous to run around on the grounds because the grounds aren't perfect. There's still lots of things that haven't been properly cleaned up. You don't have a full staff yet. So running around, and you can see that there's a bunch of workers and such that have been packing up over by the workstation that have been working on certain renovations, and they're kind of getting ready to leave as well. And so they're walking past. They give you a little wave as they walk around to the other side.
Those ones I would stop and be like, "Hey, have you seen Dogmore recently?"
One of them was like, I saw him this morning, but no, not recently. No. He's the old one, right, with the dogs.
Yeah, the old one.
No, can't say I did. Nope, sorry. But you have a good evening. We'll be back tomorrow. You tell Elgot we'll be here.
All right, will do.
And so you see, they don't even go through. They just kind of go around the castle towards the front, and it's gotten really dark and kind of foggy and such. And it strikes you as being it's kind of warm out. That's kind of a little odd, but nonetheless, that's what it is. And you make your way back to the house. Inside, Anders, you are just getting laser hatred eyes from the detective. He's just sort of looking at you from the other side of the room. He's got a little fruity drink in his hand. It's got a daiquiri umbrella in it, and he's back and forth.
Gunner is going to try and allay things by he's broken out a couple of his nicer bottles of alcohol, and seeing the grim look on the detective's face, he'll swap out drinks and just kind of announce the room and say, "Well, it occurs to me that someone wished you all to be here tonight. I assure you, it was not the residents of this home, but perhaps we can find out why." Oh, let me fill that for you.
And he holds it out, and he just kind of mumbles to himself, "I know exactly why I'm here, because that man's guilty conscience is getting to him. I'm surprised a man like you would actually ally yourself with this one. From what I've learned from Mr. Kant down at the office, police station, that's the word, not police officer, you seem to be a decent man."
Well, when one sets foot to catch murder, sometimes it's best to surround oneself with one.
Hey now. Hey now.
It's just like this. Don't quite follow that logic, sir. But thank you for the
don't
drink.
Don't worry. I'm just low on cocaine. Good evening.
And his mind is just swimming at this point, but he just can't stop locking eyes on Anders.
I try to be as charming as possible to the other guests, plying them with alcohol. And again, I said that to the room that Obviously, someone wished you all to be here. Let's see if we can find out why. Perhaps. How did you receive these various messages?
Ava speaks up first, and she seems very embarrassed. Oh, I feel so foolish. I received we at the hospital. It was for Miss Linnea, but I opened her mail, obviously, and it was addressed to both of us. To be fair, and we had.
Hey, may I see it?
And she hands it over freely.
All right, Jeff. I've seen everyone's handwriting often enough. I want to kind of examine it, hold the paper up to the light, see if there's anything like, is it actually our signatures, or is
Sure.
it obviously forged?
Okay. Go ahead and just roll a vigilance test, just as you're examining it.
Or is it well forged?
Yeah.
Yeah, could be very
Yeah.
well forged. Yep. There
Okay.
you
Well, as you are watching this, as you're looking at this, reading it over, it is ornate calligraphy. It is definitely written not as one would in a normal hand. It's more like an invitation. As you're watching it, and you kind of your finger noted like is sort of covering a certain part of this ornate scroll, and you suddenly see the scroll move, like just a little wiggle. And then it just sort of starts rotating around the outer edge as this little frame of a scroll starts continuing to do that. And then you watch as the letters on the inside, where it actually had the invitation itself, begins to rearrange and rotate in kind of all sorts of messy ways. And you're just looking at this whole time as this is all happening in front of you.
So I have the talent Sixth Sense. Now it's keyed to investigation, and you had me rule just a visual thing.
Investigation would have been fine too, but yeah.
Okay. So would Sixth Sense play into this? Give me some idea of, it gives me depending on my role, a more or less vague impression of what kind of Vaesen or what kind of magic has been used.
You're pretty confident this is some form of enchantment, some kind of illusory magic.
Okay.
Yeah.
I say none of that.
Yep.
Hand it back and say, "Oh, very well." And the next person in line, may I see your invitation as well?
And you go through them one at a time, and you have basically the same kind of thing. They all look a little different. Some of them actually do. When you look at the one, for instance, that the detective had, it actually does match Anders' handwriting. And then when you look at the one that Nadia has, it does in fact match Caius' handwriting. And there's no invitation for Rebecca Nurse. They just had a date, so there's nothing to look at there.
Okay, sure. As I was saying, I was holding the pages up to the light as well. Is there anything distinguishing about them? Are they all done on the same stationery?
In fact, they are.
Yeah.
You notice that they all kind of have the same basic sort of like there's like a crest, like a little water crest there, very vague in the print itself. Yeah.
So paper at this time, especially nice paper, would have watermark, right?
Exactly.
So
Yeah, that's what watermark.
yeah,
Sorry. Yes.
I'll take note of the watermark. It's not one from any of the local publishers, I'm assuming.
It is in fact. It actually is something. It is something you have seen regularly and locally for sure.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. I look around to anyone who happens to be in the room, other than our guests, and say, can we converse for a moment over here?
Okay.
Away from everyone else.
Everyone's been kind of mingling in your sort of like public den, which is just off the foyer. There's like a grand dining hall as well, so that you can get to by going underneath the grand staircase down a hall, and so a couple of you go down that hall a bit. Algot notices you all leaving and kind of gives you a little bit of nod, kind of understands that it's his job now to play entertainer. And so he sweeps in to start like asking if there's anything he can get. But all of you, one by one, are pulled into this grand dining hall, Harry Potter style, and you have a moment to yourselves.
I'll inform everyone as to what I saw. I said, well, they all have stationery gotten from local establishments. Watermarks are consistent, but they are enchanted in some form. They are indeed our own signatures, not just clever forgeries. Then explain what I saw when I took a good look at that one page.
Sure.
Does that ring any bells for anyone?
So,
That doesn't explain the date.
and you show us the letters, right?
If I still have them, sure.
Or
Sure, that's fine. I don't think anyone would be too upset for you to keep them.
So the question I have is, it seems like the signatures match whoever let the person into the door. Just
Yeah.
it seems odd to me.
The person I let in had his signature for me.
No, that doesn't track.
Is
Because
that
there
not
was
true?
there's one that had all of our signatures on it.
Oh,
The invitation. Yes, the
Yeah.
invitation.
okay. Never mind.
And it's the one that did some particularly screwy stuff, right?
Is that the one that did the screw thing?
Yes, that's the one, because
Yeah.
that one, that's the only
Mm.
one that was like ornate. The other two are just sort of basic letters. Like this was an
Okay.
ornate kind of invitation, but they're all printed on that same
Same.
paper. Yeah.
Same paper.
Mm.
Okay.
Mhm.
Well, obviously someone wanted them here tonight.
What ends though?
What's the relation
Is-
between a lot of them? That's strange.
Us.
Just
Us.
Us.
Yeah.
Right, but
And I mean, the one that was invited in for me, I would call a foe.
right. But
we also
Nadia,
have
no. Or
Those that aren't. So it's not. I would not
Wait.
call it an openly hostile action.
Potentially not. Potentially it's the grounds itself that they all have in common.
They all have some connection to the grounds here.
Possibly.
True. And we can't find Dogmore.
Yeah.
He knew he had a date, I think.
Not at the pub.
Did anyone look in the stables for him? I know he sleeps out there most nights.
Jürgen, you would probably have made a run of the grounds. You feel pretty confident that unless he just happened to be moving in front of you, like from place to place, like hiding and
Yeah.
seeking from you, like you.
I'm pretty sure I could have heard his bones creaking if he was moving
Yeah.
around. So
The castle is enormous, so it's possible he could be somewhere still in the castle. You just haven't come around to see him, but you know,
Mhm.
you haven't seen him, and no one's seen him since the morning.
Well,
But
I
his
can
room
always-
smelled nice. Like maybe he was getting
Of-
ready for a date.
Of wet dog
nice
and
and relative
for him.
relative sense of the word.
it only smelled like a slightly damp dog and not a fully soaked dog.
I picture a dog more using like Monsters Inc. cologne, where it's actually like wet dog.
That's funny. So
So we do have a guard that we recently hired.
You do?
Since our last return, so I would probably want to find the dog and the guard and make sure that he's doing the rounds. Since
Extra
something
diligence tonight.
suspicious
his
is
name,
happening.
and I didn't come up with this. This was a combination of like people in the Doke Discord and Jeremy swooping in from the high ropes. Paul Rodskjorta. So I think that's how you pronounce it.
yeah.
Paul Redshirt is what his name is. For those who don't speak whatever the hell, whatever broken Swedish I just did. So, while you're saying this, Sigrid, you hear the doorbell once more, the bell ring, except this time it's sort of like this panicked ring, and it's followed by pounding on the door. Seconds later, you hear screaming. You hear people shouting and screaming.
I'll run to the front door.
Yeah,
As
let's
will I.
all run down there, yeah.
Okay.
I like have my hands ready to do rock paper scissors. And it just runs.
Hey, Matt, how's it going?
You take a second there, Jürgen. Catch your breath.
Yeah.
It's so nice when they run first.
Yes.
We're doing kind of a Clue thing tonight. I love Clue. Okay,
Great.
so it's gonna get worse, but don't worry, it's starting as Clue. So you head over towards the foyer, and you can see that there is a bit of a commotion as the three workmen, actually two workmen and one workwoman, are inside your house once more and are kind of sprawled down on the ground, and sort of one of them is kind of is leaning back. You can see that there's like their shoulder is a little bit torn up. The shirt has been ripped. There's a little bit of the flesh showing and a little bit of blood. You can see one of them is staring back at the door, which is still kind of open. Algot Frisk is holding it. The detective is down on his knees, kind of helping one of the other ones up. Ava is sort of doing the same. You can see that she's quickly just trying to help, and it's just panic, just absolute panic.
Maybe I'll call for Jürgen after all. I think we need some help.
and you just hear a sigh from the other room, and I come out. And I'm like, oh,
All right, take another for
You
this
do.
edition. No, just kidding. So you come out and you take a look, and there's the three people. They all have wounds on them. None of them are life threatening that you can tell. There's some serious lacerations, like definitely painful, gonna need stitches, that type of thing. Nothing that would necessarily like kill them, but they all feel. Okay, good job, Adam. There is a second competing pub with an Uppsala by the name of the Kalidisidum,
Beautiful.
the hot pocket in Latin, plus the Horn pub. We name our.
This is what you get for letting me
Well,
name things.
All you naming.
Just this is my face when I'm realizing I've made some poor choices recently. So, anyway, so you come over but you take a few moments, and I won't make you roll this, but you can start patching them up. Nothing's too terrible. And but they're babbling. They're like, fog, and like they're all like holding their hands up and sort of pointing out the door, which is still open. Alcott kind of leans out and looks. So does the detective. He kind of looks. And Nadia, you can see, is just leaning against one of the walls, sipping what effectively is a martini glass. And like Rebecca Nurse is right next to her, and she's also sipping a glass. And the two of them are just kind of watching, like, okay, well, it's going to be that kind of night, I suppose. What are y'all doing?
What specifically in the fog did this? As I like poke one of their wounds.
Careful, friend. It's a bit tender. I don't know. It's just we went out. We went through the gate, and there's a fog, and we went out into it, and there was something in it, and we lost each other, and then we heard sounds, and then we ran back here. I'm so sorry to impose on you.
No, it's something or some things. Like, did it seem like?
I don't know. And they're all just like stammering, like, I don't know. I don't know what it was. It's just the fog is everywhere. It's everywhere out there.
Might go kind of just peer outside a little bit.
You peer outside.
Is fog strange
too.
for this time of year, or strange at all here?
In real Sweden, I don't know. In Jeff Sweden for Vaesen, yes, it's summertime. This is a weird time for fog.
Okay.
So you look out, and you can tell that that you have, and if you all look on the on our Foundry page, you can see that there's a castle grounds map. You can go ahead and look over if you want to just hang out on that page. It'll give you sort of a basic generic look at what the grounds kind of look like. But you can see that between the castle and where the main gate is, which you all tend to leave unlocked for people who come and go, and you leave the castle itself locked. There's a fountain and some other vegetation in between. You can see that there is a fog that has encroached upon the walls and the gates. It hasn't pushed past into the opening area of your home. That's not into the gardens or into the fountains or anything like that, but it's right along the gate, and it is thick. Like you cannot you can't see any of the normal like gas lamps and such that you would see on the streets south of here. You don't see anything whatsoever.
So it's not on the castle grounds, though, right? Is that what I'm getting?
Doesn't appear to be. No, you can still see the faint contours of the gate of that long iron fence that goes around the property.
Do we know of any weird properties or anything that's been put on the castle?
I'm sorry, say that again, Joe.
Do we know of any like properties or protective something that's been put on the castle from any of its previous owners or whatever?
Linnea didn't mention anything like that, no.
Can I go up to my library and start doing, I want to look for enchantments, protections, something on the castle grounds.
Okay.
Or see if there's any reference to crazy thick fog like this as well.
Sure.
One of our,
you go up to the second floor. What else? What other people want to do?
one of our guests was the victim that we saved that was about to be sacrificed when we first found this place, right?
That was Nadia, and she's leaning up against the wall, sipping a martini, effectively.
Right. So I will sit next to Nadia and say, well, we never really got a chance to speak much after the events where we first met. Have you any idea what they were trying to do here? They broke into this place. They were performing some kind of rite with you as their final sacrifice, perhaps. Is there anything you could tell us about how you came to be in their possession and what they were trying to do to you?
She nods in the direction of the detective. It's like, that one and the others, they just said that it was devil worshippers and Satanists and such. And
But how did you come to be within their charge? Were
Oh.
you abducted from the street? Did you know one of the men?
no, I was meeting with Mr. Frisk. And she nods over towards your butler. He was curious about the grounds. He wanted to join it once more, and he wanted to inquire about the state of the value of the property. And so I was coming here to do an assessment.
Very good. I will go in and talk to Mr. Frisk next, but
Yeah.
go ahead, go to someone else.
Okay.
Oh, Sigurd was probably going to look at the law enforcement officer and basically be like, is that something you would want to go check out? What's going on out there?
And he kind of looks at you and he says, he looks over at Anders as Anders is climbing the stairs. I bet you he's got something to do with it. Yeah. And then he turns around.
And I'll kind of repeat the alibi, like he was with us in the other room.
That doesn't mean he's got nothing to do with it. He could have hired somebody else. It's just like him to leave people out in dangerous places so they can get hurt. Oh, you haven't heard that story yet, have you? Well, when I get back, I'll tell you all about your friend, what he's really like. And then he turns and he kind of starts trudging down, and he's like, anybody want to back me up?
Is he going out to look at the fog?
Yeah, he's going out to look at the fog.
Okay, I always plan to do that anyways. So
Okay. So you start coming down and kind of
Did they say they were attacked once they got on the grounds, or
In the
only
fog.
once they were in the fog?
In the fog.
would I have my equipment, or would I need a moment to like go get it?
I doubt you would have
weapons and
had
stuff.
your guns and such on you right now. So if you were
Okay.
looking to go get your weapons, you would probably want to take a moment. Or do you have a pistol?
Yeah. I have a rifle.
Okay, I would say if it's a rifle, you would probably want to go grab that.
Yeah.
And he'll impatiently wait. But that's fine.
Hey, we don't know what's out there.
Sure.
Sigurd has
I'll,
some sort of like gardening implement that she just like tucked in her belt.
Just a
when she came
trowel.
back in. Yeah.
Just
That's
like
what
a-
she's got.
Hey, that works. That can kill people.
Then
Yeah.
Seen
I'll,
movies.
I'll be like, yeah,
Ask
I'll
Jen,
follow, and I'll have my doctor's bag ready or whatever.
Okay.
And as I'm walking out with them, like, so do you have any like family, next of kin, any? Just, all I need is a name.
So you're talking to the detective?
Mhm.
He looks over at you,
Just curious.
and while Rubatega's not around, he gets right up into your grill, and he says, I know who you are, too. I know the two of you have been in league. You're lucky that you're not behind bars. I know exactly what you did. I know exactly what your friend did. I just can't prove it yet. So I don't want to hear any kind of niceties when you talk to me. Or else I'm going to give you a thrashing that you're sure as hell not going to be able to heal. And he just kind of turns his back on you at that point.
It's more of a courtesy than anything, but less complicated if I know that information.
Mm-hmm.
But I still follow him.
Okay.
Like, I plan on stopping dead at the line of the fog and just waiting.
Absolutely. Rubatega, you catch up, and you've got your rifle at this point, and you can see that the detective actually looks at you for a moment and takes pause. Like, I don't think I know you.
I don't think I know you either.
I thought this was just a bunch of cowards and fools. You coming in? And he starts to, like, he's actually going up to the fog. He's like, it's just fog. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Bunch of
Yes, and those were just stab wounds.
They probably just stumbled into some kind of bush. You got all sorts of
stabbed
bushes
them.
around here. Thorns can be really piercy. And so
All right.
he starts to go into the fog. Do either of you follow?
I'll tell Yürgan to
I'm
wait,
literally just
but-
like standing there with my doctor bag, like waving, like
yeah,
I'll be
you
here.
keep an eye out, and hopefully we'll come back just fine. So
Okay.
I'll be the last of the group with my like trowel.
I'll just be doing
Okay.
this like as they walk out of sight.
So as far as I understand, Anders is upstairs researching.
Yep.
Gunnar is talking to Algot Frisk now. Sigrid, you have a trowel. Sorry, Gunnar, go ahead.
If everyone is seeming to leave and I'm the only resident still here, I'm entertaining everyone, but also keeping an eye to make sure no one leaves.
Okay. Caius and Sigrid, where are the two of you going to be?
I'm still here. I was actually going to start writing. Like, I
Okay.
feel like I want some sort of insight, hopefully, as to what the hell is going on.
Okay.
I might move away from the gas because it probably looks weird, like the whole like eyes roll in the back of his head and whatnot. So I'll just excuse myself for a minute.
Okay.
You're the entertainment for the night.
Yeah.
All right. And
Sigrid
then
is last into the fog.
okay, so you're going to the fog as well. So Gunnar, since you're still in here and you're not occupied, you hear a door slam in the back of the kitchen, and moments later you hear footsteps, and it is hang on, let me get his stupid name again. Paul Ratskjorte. As he shows up, and he's carrying an envelope. And he kind of looks around for anybody. He sees Algot, he sees Gunnar, and he motions to the two of you, and he says, "This was nailed to the back door." And he kind of just hands it over.
And nobody heard the pounding.
No. Sorry, I was just doing my rounds, and I saw it when I came by.
A bit of a warning. There seems to be a fog outside of the premises. Do not enter it.
I saw it. It's really strange. It's right along the fence, actually, all the way.
Yes.
It's like
Is
it's
this within
stopped.
earshot of me at all? or
No,
is
you're
this,
out.
like,
You're out
pretty
front by
far
the fog
within-
now. Yeah, they're still
Okay.
inside. You're outside.
Okay.
Okay.
There are one of our guests is out there along with some of our companions. Feel free to continue your rounds, but do not enter the fog. If you happen to see them, they may require assistance. Thank you. Thank you. Take the letter.
And he, professionally.
Have you stopped at the armory? Perhaps some weaponry is in order.
And you can see that he carries a spear because that's what.
That's what I
you
picked.
guys gave him. So he's got a spear. He's like, yeah, that professor guy gave me a spear.
Classic defense weapon.
I mean, I know how to use it, but a sword might have been better. Gun, but no, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Low bidder gets the job, I guess, and he starts wandering back to his rounds.
All right. Look at the envelope. Anything on the outside? Other
No,
than a hole through it.
completely blank other than a hole through it.
All right. Tear it open. Take a look.
Tear it open, and there are blank sheets of paper.
Ah, yes. Take a sniff. Do they smell like lemon juice or any other caustic substance on them?
They do not. Just blank
Well.
sheets of paper. I will say I'll roll over your vigilance test. Same basic watermark. Everything sort of same pieces of paper.
In which case, I'll stare at it for a bit and see if anything decides to show itself, like the other page did.
You stare and you stare and
Okay.
nothing
One
happens.
last thing is just go and by the fireplace and just turn the pages over them to see if anything appears.
No,
All right.
no secret messages or anything. Okay. Chuck, you're upstairs.
Yeah.
Roll a vigilance test as you're
Oh no.
wandering towards the library. I pointed out to Matt when I was watching his game the other day that he likes to throw out observation tests when he wants to get people stacking stress. Okay, so
Can I push that?
of course you can. Please do. Okay,
There we go.
so go ahead and take a mental
Take
condition.
frightened. That's
Yeah.
what I always take is frightened.
So as you're up here, you're walking. So the second floor of your house, of the castle, has many bedrooms in which you all are staying in. But there's also a couple other rooms, libraries. The kind of the more private library where you all have been kind of accruing some of your notes, is up here on the second floor. There are libraries on the first floor, but those have your kind of generic history and such and philosophy. But up here is where you kind of been doing your main studying. There's also a private dining hall up here. It's more intimate and whatnot, whereas the first floor one is just this massive hall. And as you're walking past and going towards your library, you're passing by the dining hall itself. When you look over, you can see that the chandelier is lit, and it wouldn't be. You know, it wouldn't be like the last time you had just come from up here, and you look over, and you can see that the chandelier is lit.
Okay.
You were one of the last people to come down.
I know
Algot Frisk would be the one who would light it, and he certainly did it because he left the second story long before you did.
I'll begrudgingly wander in and hello, is anyone here?
So you look around and you can see what you've always saw. Those of you in the chat, if like the music is a little too loud, let me know. I can turn it down a little bit. So as you come in here, it's got a nice table, probably seats about 10 to 12 people, a couple chairs around it, a couple chairs in the corner, a couple cabinets and such where you have fine china and glasses and whatnot. And you can see that there are about 8 different... Oh, no music? Oh, that's a shame. I guess it's not working again. You see 8 different portraits that have been flanking around the dining hall here and there. And you've seen them before. They're here. There's all sorts of artwork in this castle. And you've noticed before, they're not named. There's no name for who they are. There's no signature on the paintings or anything like that. There's little plaques, much like we have on our overlay, but they're blank. But as you wander in, you've noticed something has changed radically, and it's that the figures in the paintings are completely different.
Oh. Do I recognize anyone in the paintings?
You do, in fact.
Uh-huh.
You recognize yourself, and Gunnar, and Caius, and Yürgan, and Sigrid, and Dogmo, and Rubatega.
Rubatega's already in it.
Are the placards, they have names on them now, or still
Your
blank?
names.
This is bad.
Yeah, roll a fear test.
Yeah. Which one is that? Is that...
So fear, you pick either empathy or logic, whichever one you want,
Logic.
and you just roll the attribute.
Yep.
Okay, and you pass.
I passed?
Yeah,
All right.
it's definitely stressful and unsettling, but take a deep breath, and you know something's up. Do you continue to go to your library, or do you go back downstairs?
Listen, creepies abound. I want to go to the library. I
Okay.
feel safe in the library.
You feel safe in the library. Okay, gotcha. Okay, so let me turn the music up a little bit. They're saying they're not hearing it. So we'll go to the front of the house, and so far I think I've got people going into the fog are Rubatega, the detective, Rune Magnuson, and Sigrid. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
And Yürgan, you're staying out. All right. So the 3 of you plunge into the fog.
I think
At a-
tiptoe is a little more
Yeah.
accurate for Sigrid.
Plunge. You
I'm
plunge.
not
You
as
swan
concerned.
dive. You lower your head and charge in.
Sprint with arms
I'd like
back.
to try and make sure that the two of us stay near each other.
Sure.
I don't care as much for the other guy. But
Okay.
Yeah, he can go ahead.
All right. The 3 of you step into the fog, and as you do, you're walking for a few steps. You feel the cobblestone walkway at your feet. You kind of run your hand along the gate. You vaguely see the contours of the protective gargoyles that flank the entrance. You take a few steps out to what you assume would be the street. Your feet seem to hit something solid, and then moments later, you suddenly hear whispers. You kind of feel something bump you. Maybe you call out each other's names, but none of them come back. I need you to both make vigilance tests.
So much for staying close.
We're okay.
Okay. You call out each other's names, and you kind of reach out, and you do realize that you're right. Like you separated briefly, but then you're together. You don't see signs of the detective, but you begin wandering. You take a couple more steps, and you kind of look around, and you realize you are completely encased in fog. You see no lights. You see no people, other than the two of you who are immediately next to one another. You can see nothing else. You hold your hand up to your face, which is just a few inches away, and even that is kind of hard to see.
This is quite profound.
And all the while, your ears are just completely covered up by whispers and kind of these weird sounds in the fog. Go ahead and both of you roll fear tests.
After they're gone for like a minute or two,
no.
I just yell, "How's it going in there? Finding any stabby bushes?"
I think I'll go ahead and push this.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, no.
Gosh.
So,
no.
Rubitega, you got to take 2 mental
2,
conditions,
yeah.
1 for pushing and then 1 for suffering the fear test. Now, you are afraid, so you have to make a choice. Do you want to flee? Do you want to fight? Do you want to freeze? Or do you want to faint?
I think in this case, I'll probably just freeze.
Okay. And so, Sigrid, the two of you are kind of right next to each other, and you can feel he is no longer next to you. You turn around,
Crap.
reach out. You can grab him. Eventually, you bump right back into him, but he is completely still.
What you doing? You're supposed to be the brave one. Didn't you come on board to, like fight stuff? Isn't that why you're here with us? I'm assuming I can't like do anything to get him unfeared or unfrozen.
No, I mean you could drag him out of this if you want.
Yeah, I'll try to drag him back to the direction that I think would be
Sure.
the castle.
Yeah, roll a force test.
Okay. 1 success.
Okay. You grab him
I'm
and
not going to resist.
you start dragging and dragging and dragging until finally the fog sort of lifts. You look around and you are nowhere near the front gate. In fact, you kind of recognize where you're at. You are over by the kennel.
Oh, so we got way out there.
Yeah, you don't know where you're. And it doesn't make sense because you only took a few steps, maybe 15, 20 feet, and then you turn around, and then suddenly you're on a complete other section of the grounds. And the grounds are huge, by the way. You have a ton of property. And
Yeah.
so this isn't just 10, 20 steps. This is hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of steps.
Way further than we walked.
Yeah, it doesn't calculate. It doesn't make sense.
Okay. So, as is the case for the night, Sigrid is going to yell, Yürgan!
And-
Yürgan!
And
I would
I'm gonna-
say
do
you're.
I hear it from like behind me?
Uh,
Or was that too far away?
I would say Yürgan. First of all, the detective stumbles out right in front of you, and you can see that his shirt, like his coat, has been ripped, and he's got a slash. Again, nothing necessarily life-threatening, but it is fairly deep, and he's bleeding from it and looks pissed as he stumbles out. Go ahead and roll a vigilance
I've
test.
just got a shit-faced grin.
Go ahead and roll a vigilance test. You're going to need 2 successes to be able to hear their shouting from this distance.
Okay. Vigilance?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, it's right on the money.
And like you can tell, like you can easily pinpoint it. It's off to the northeast somewhere. Like it's a ways away. It's very faint, but you can hear your name being called. You might not even realize it's them calling your name, but you can hear someone calling your name from a ways out.
And I'd just be like twirling a scalpel or something in my hand, like, need me to look at that?
So Sigrid would then go back towards where Yürgan was, because Yürgan was staying put, so Sigrid would bring Rubitega
I assume if I'm out of the fog at this point, I can probably.
So are you guys like on the other side of the wall already? Like you're back on the ground past the fog?
They're
Or-
there,
okay.
yeah. So Rubitega, at this point, out of the fog, I would say your fear can dissipate.
Okay.
So Yürgan, are you helping out the detective at all, or are you just gonna go chase after the sounds of someone calling your name?
I'd help him like stop bleeding at least.
Okay.
But
Begrudgingly.
can't have you trickle this inside.
So we'll go ahead and shift inside to where Caius has been doing some academic writing. And so Caius, you got to roll your check for this. Is there something specific you're looking for?
I mean, we've got the letters, but mostly, I guess like the fog seems like the weirdest thing, and that's where we're hearing that things were. I suppose if anything, he would focus on that.
Okay. All right. Go ahead and roll your test.
I will. So I will use my inspiration, which is pretty good at this point. I think I need to clear my conditions from the last adventure. I'm no longer frightened and hopeless.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
For now.
yeah, not in a game mechanic sense. Okay, I'll take 2.
Okay. So, as you're typing out, I always think it's a typewriter, but really it's just periodically you hear the vague sounds of some like older women leaning over each of your shoulders, like, "So what you writing, sweetie?" Oh God, he's not even listening to us, guy. He's so rude. I know, it's very upsetting. It's absolutely. He invites us over here and he can't even give us a damn thing. But after a couple minutes, you take a look, and your automatic writing says some very upsetting things. First, it says, "The fog will kill you." Then it says, "The house will kill you." Then it says, "Your friends will kill you." Then it says, "The strangers will kill you." And then it says, "Your past will kill you." And it just keeps saying, listing all these different things that are going to kill you. But at the very, very end, you see a line that actually makes a little bit more sense. And it says, "The wards have been broken." And I would like you to roll a fear test.
Great, and I'm all by myself, so there's no benefit there. Good. But strange enough, Caius does have the brave talent.
Okay.
Against all odds. I'm going to go with empathy, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not so much brave as he just is always in a constant state of fear.
Yeah, he acts regardless of the fear is more of what it is.
Sounds
That's
like
probably-
Caius is the first person to use WebMD.
Oh, there we go. Bonus 1.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow, look at that.
You
Okay.
swallow it down. Everything's going to kill you.
That's okay. That's normal. I wake up every morning thinking of all the things that could kill me. So this is on track.
And then it says the wards are broken.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go find Anders. I think maybe, yeah, he was the one trying to research things. I should go find Anders.
That is correct. Meanwhile, up in the library, Anders, you've been gone for about 15 minutes or so. You're going through as many books as you can. Go ahead and roll a learning test.
Sure thing. And I get some pluses to this because my mental condition doesn't affect my learning tests, and I get a +2 while doing a learning test in a library.
Yeah. Oh wow, I didn't even realize that library thing. I should put more libraries in our adventures for you now.
There you go. Oh yeah, it's a 4.
Okay, so what are you looking to learn?
I'm looking for, I guess the most pressing thing would be this fog, researching any kind of fog setup like that.
Sure. I would say you have one of the most notable entries that you found in some of the annals of society. Like there are many cases of fog being used in certain enchantment and in certain trollcraft as ways to kind of in some cases it's just sort of obscure other malicious entities or malicious intentions. So definitely this fog seems to be artificial for sure. Like it's like you're pretty clear about that. You've also done some research that the grounds of the castle at some point, like there is like some kind of consecration of some kind. Something about like protections and wards and such that have, over the years and the decades of the society functioning, they have stumbled across, either intentionally or unintentionally, all sorts of magic, some of which isn't even nefarious, but in the hands of novices and people who know no better, could actually have a significant negative impact. So from what you could tell, is whatever it is that kind of is allowing this fog to sort of surround it, you're worried perhaps that it might be you would be even more worried if it were to actually get onto the grounds itself.
Okay, so I think there's something on the grounds holding it at bay.
Right.
Okay. But okay, that doesn't answer all of our questions.
You have
so
4
that's a good
successes,
start.
so if there's other things that you're looking for, I mean, I'm willing. I mean, you can
Okay.
get other things. Just let me know what it is you would think.
So yeah, that kind of answers two things. The fog's artificial, used in something. The also that answers some kind of barrier on the grounds that would prevent it from entering. Next question I would have would be about the paintings, the painting shifting, maybe some kind of, I don't know, haunting or something like that.
So you don't. I mean, there's information on ghosts, but none of them seem to correlate to like that specifically. But you do know that there are particular spells that have the ability to kind of twist vision. Like you have the ability to kind of make people see what isn't actually there. And you also know that there are also magics that have the ability to perhaps animate things that are inanimate.
Okay.
Okay.
That answers a couple of things for me then, because like, how are we getting these letters? Well, if the letters are just magically enchanted to look like, okay, I've got some information then, and I'll head back down with the group to share findings.
And as you open the door, you bump right into Caius, who's sweating bullets at this point.
You, my friend, are quite damp.
Yeah, I'm always moist. That's just me.
That's just you. Come to the dining hall over here. I want you to take a look at something for me.
So yeah, I have something too.
Okay.
I have just a list of all the things that are going to kill us, and also something about wards.
Oh, okay. Your information, I think, is a little more important. So what's all going to kill us?
You know, the mist will kill us, the house will kill us, our friends will kill us, the strangers will kill us. Rusty nails will kill you on a long enough timeline because tetanus is very serious.
Yeah, I won't deny that. Students have had encounters along those lines before.
But yeah, something about the wards are broken. I guess, you know, outside of all the things that'll kill us, that's, you know, the one, which one of these does not seem like the other is that line there.
Okay, the wards are broken. So there are wards on the grounds that I think are keeping the mist out. But the wards are broken. I wonder if there was something these wards were keeping in. Wait, let's go to the dining hall real quick.
Okay.
So the two of you head over to the dining hall. Gunnar, you're the last one left in the last of the PCs, so to speak, left on the first floor. You can see that, you know, Algot and some of the others have tried to help a few of these workers who are kind of scarred up. You feel this sort of strange kind of cold gust just suddenly shift through the room. I need you to roll a force test.
A force. Good thing I put a point into that. A single point.
Yep.
You could-
All right.
Okay.
Hey, look at that.
It's pretty good. Unfortunately, this is actually contested.
Oh, no.
Yes.
no.
And as you're kind of like looking around, kind of like you're next to a fire, it's sort of immediately whoosh, your entire surroundings go dark. And you hear a couple voices and people like panicking, like, what the hell? Where the hell are we? Oh my god! You hear the sounds of Nadia, the old woman. You hear the sounds of Ava Blomberg. You hear the sounds of a couple of the workers. You look around and it is pitch black in here. And you take a step or two and you bump into something that wasn't there a second ago.
I was about to say to everyone, we are under attack. Do not move from your positions.
Attack? What do you mean we're under attack? What? And people just are panicking.
Right.
So it's dusty. Okay. It smells incredibly dusty in here. And as you kind of move and like kind of try to get your bearings, you can feel your arm just like swiping through like spider webs. You're just covering your hand and your arm and your face and just sticking to you now.
Okay. I will, instead of relying on my eyesight, stay still for a moment and just listen to everything around me. Get a sense of the room, get a sense for the environment.
Okay.
Use your echolocation.
You said there was a breeze. So
yeah,
if it's still going on,
it is not going on any further.
It is not. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. You would know that you were just subjected to some form of magic.
All right. So again, just not relying on my eyes and just kind of standing absolutely still, trying to find out if anything is aggressive in the room now.
So you stand absolutely still. There's people. You can hear people as they're bumping into things, and you don't hear anything like aggressive, no growling. You don't hear anyone screaming out in pain other than like stubbing toes and bumping into things.
I have been here long enough that I would know where the door would be. Now I understand things have changed, but trying to work that mental map in my head to work myself to the door to make sure no one leaves.
Okay. Roll a vigilance test to see if you can navigate this room.
And this is just Gunner's thing. When things get creepy, he relies on his.
Sure. Yeah, just roll vigilance. Okay. Yeah, you're able to work your way over to what feels like a door. You go to sort of turn and pull and then push, and it seems jammed.
That's fine. If I think this is where the door is, I'm just going to plant myself here. Okay.
And so at a certain point, somebody, like, you hear a little match strike or something, and there's a little bit of light in the room. And that little bit of light is enough to kind of coat a significant portion of the room now. And this looks... you're not familiar with this room at all.
When you say not familiar with, do you mean how it's furnished, or are the dimensions the same?
To the best of your knowledge, you have never been in this room before. You can see that there are furnishings in here you've never seen. Some of them are coated. There's paintings and sculptures and such that are all around. There's shelves and such.
But I mean the general room dimensions. So like, can I work out if this is the same size of space that I was in before?
Oh no, this is definitely not the same size as the room you were in prior.
All right.
Okay.
Slide my brass knuckles on.
Okay. So as you do that, you kind of go to, like, you're the one who still has the envelope, right?
Yes.
So as you're kind of, slipping on your knuckles and moving your moving the envelope maybe to a pocket or to a shirt sleeve, you notice there's a sudden freezing feeling that overcomes the envelope. The envelope feels almost frozen, like it's like you're touching ice.
Right. So it's trying to get my attention. What's written on it now?
So you start going through, and you notice that one of the papers inside suddenly has, like, you have again that little bit of light from somebody. It's just you can see very faintly that there's writing on it now. That there's something there.
Okay. With that bit of light, is there a lamp, candles, anything in this room that we can maintain the light with?
You do notice there is a dusty hurricane lamp with just a little bit of oil left in it on a table nearby.
Grab that. Go
Yeah.
over to whoever lit the match. Who lit it?
And it looks to be one of the workers that had been working on the house. You can see that the two over there is one of the men and the woman is here, along with both Ava Blomberg and Rebecca Nurse.
Is anyone missing
Mhm.
that was in the room with me at the time?
You do not see Algot Frisk. You do not see Nadia Strom. You do not see the third worker.
Okay. Make that light more permanent as best we can there.
Mhm.
And then take a look at the letter.
Okay. And you realize it's not a letter. It's, in fact, a death certificate. And as you read through it, it says, the death certificate of Anton Backlund, 38, died while working for the heartless inhabitants of Castle Gillenkreutz. Cause of death, trauma, suffered to the chest by a large wooden cross. Medical observer, and this is a signature, Dr. Yürgan Leinbaldersön.
Okay. Is the name familiar?
Yes, it's the missing worker.
Okay.
Have any large wooden crosses in our in our castle?
Yeah.
Okay.
That is a question. Is there a large wooden cross? in the castle?
You know that there are grounds there's a chapel grounds that would probably be the most likely place to look. There's a cemetery that has some old rickety crosses as well. Nothing else that you know that hangs on the walls. There's not a ton of religious imagery, like Christian imagery, in the house itself.
Are there, other than the door that I'm against or was against, are there any windows in this room?
Yes, they seem to be boarded up.
And as far as I know, there are no boarded up rooms in this castle.
Only on the third floor.
Oh, there are on the third floor, huh? Okay. Why won't the door open? Take a look at it now.
You take a look, and it just looks like it hasn't opened in a while. It looks like it might be swollen in the jam. It could probably just need a good. If you get some help, you could probably put a shoulder. It doesn't look like it's anything too nefarious. It looks like it's just swollen in the jam.
Sure. What is in this room in general?
Yeah, you look around, and there are a handful of shelves that have all sorts of different things on them. They look like kind of like some of them are books, some of them are little pieces of artifacts, things like that. You see what looks like a globe, a couple like almost like navigational things like astrolabe and such. There looks to be a couple empty bird cages, and some basic furniture.
Right. Have the laborers help me with the piece of furniture. We'll use that to ram the door open with.
Sure. And so all that will say heave ho, and you knock the door down and you can see a hallway opens up in front of you. We'll shift to somebody else now. And come back. So outside, Sigrid Rubitega, you are over by the kettles. You have just come out of the fog. You do not recall having come in by the fog. Is there something in particular the two of you are looking to do? You look at yourselves. Neither of you suffered any physical harm coming out of the fog.
Want to go join back up with Yürgan.
Okay.
Yeah.
You start moving in his direction, and eventually you kind of start curving around the house, and you can see that the fountain at the center of the kind of right outside the door, like a little courtyard that leads up, you can see that it appears to be missing the statue that was standing on top of the fountain itself.
Well,
Just
that's
completely
quite
gone.
odd.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming it's very heavy, so that wouldn't.
It's about a 9 foot tall man that's kind of doing some sort of pose. And from the hand comes out like a spout of water.
Doesn't look like it's been drug around here or anything like that, or just like
Go ahead and roll if you want. If you look around, you can notice that yes, there are certainly tracks, broken cobblestone. You can see where, as if something has landed on the cobblestone. You can see radial breaks. But roll an investigation test to see if there's anything else that you might see as well.
Okay.
Can we both roll this?
Sure.
I'm gonna need to find myself some liquor or something so I can recover some of my stats.
I got a success.
I fast.
Okay.
I failed, sir.
Sigrid, you notice that the water in the fountain is not water any longer. It appears to be a pool of red blood or Kool-Aid.
Oh. One of the two.
Yes,
Kool-Aid.
probably Kool-Aid.
Probably
drinking.
Kool-Aid.
I'll be able to identify it.
Now you can see Yürgan, who's now stitching up the detective, probably about 30 feet away from you, down by the front of the gate. The door is still open to the main castle, so there's light coming out into the courtyard, so you all can see each other at this point and sort of reunite at the center of this fountain. What are you doing?
Sigurd would just want to tell Jurgen it was probably a good idea that he didn't go into the fog. We heard some things, felt some things, but didn't come to danger. But movement in there is not what it seems to be. We ended up all the way over there without actually moving that far. And then I'll ask, the constable guy what happened to him because he looks injured.
Something cut me in there.
Like, yeah, it was a stabby bush.
No, it was a blade, you idiot.
Oh,
Did you hear
sorry, you
anything?
sounded to be an expert before you went wandering in
I
there.
heard footsteps. I heard mumbling and whispers, and then someone grabbed me, and then they cut me. Let me see your scalpels. Let me see that bag there, doctor.
I've had it.
And so he starts looking at some of your stuff and sees if any of them have kind of blood on it recently, and he gets a little frustrated. And he's like, "All right, fine," and he just jams it back into your chest. It's that damn professor. He's doing this. Guaranteed.
Think he did that too? And I'll just point to the missing statue. And that.
He looks up. What? What's that?
Statue?
What the hell are you all playing at around here?
I'm new here.
We've heard about this place. Just a bunch of cultists and freaks. Your magics and your voodoo or other words. I'm just really mad right now.
Let's just get back inside. Are you capable of walking?
Yeah, he walked up here, and at that point you hear a scream coming from inside.
Inside the house.
Inside the house.
Alrighty then.
Okay. I'm sort of asking him intentionally, like, so you're okay to walk? Sort of.
He kind of looks at you. He knows what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm okay to walk. I'm fine.
Okay.
Thank you for your concern.
We'll go back inside.
So
Yeah.
you all start going inside.
I was like about to eagerly head over to the pool of blood, and then I hear the scream, and I just kind of dejectedly turn around.
You can pass by it. You can pass by it as you're way. You pass by. There's a pool of blood.
All right,
I'll see that every
I'll
day.
take like an empty vial or something from my kit and just scoop it up.
And he looks at
Bottle of
you,
fluid.
and he looks at the. You sick sons of bitches! What are you doing here? I'll tell you, with this fog list, I'm gonna have every cop at the station. We're coming down here. We're going over these grounds with a fine-tooth comb. We're gonna find something. We know you're up to something here.
Hopefully
We've had
we'll
reports about
find-
this place for years.
And we haven't been here for years, so I fail to see your point, and I'll keep going inside.
Okay. He said, So you go inside, and you can see that there are only 2 people in here, and no one else. You can see that there is Nadia Strom and Al Gottfrisk, your 2 contacts,
Where did everyone go?
and that's when they're just like, they just disappeared. Sigrid, we were here. Gunnar was by the fire, and he starts laying out where everybody was. There was a cold breeze, and then they all just disappeared. And like Nadia is like going around picking up drinks that have been left behind and just tossing them back left, right. Yeah, I hate this place. Why did I come back here?
I don't know. And so Sigrid, I think knew that Anders had gone upstairs, so she's just gonna yell like she was doing all episode, like, Anders.
Okay, Anders, Caius, you hear the sound of Sigrid calling.
I do ask when they say disappeared. I'm like you looked away conveniently, looked back, they weren't there, or like you watched
doctor.
them.
Real quick, Jeff.
Yeah.
Do I hear her call out?
You do not. No.
Okay, so just fair warning, Anders. Your friends will kill you. So let's go.
Okay. I do want to point out on that logic, you're one of my friends as well.
Oh shit.
Roll for initiative. No.
Oh no.
I'm screwed.
But seriously,
I would.
As the two of you walk down the hallway, you see something blocking your way. It is.
Oh.
You see that there is a large, about 6 foot to 7 foot tall suit of armor that you have seen as decorative around the castle in some places. That's standing in the middle of the hallway and has a kind of a rusted sword brandished and is blocking your path forward. Hey, Drorin.
Hi. Hello. If you hear or understand us, is this the house killing us? I think this is where the house kills us.
And then it charges at you.
God, no.
Oh, no. Turn and run back to my library.
Okay. So the two.
Come
so
on.
you turn and run back to your library. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Caius, do you do that?
Yes, I'm running.
Okay. So you two run back into the library, and I assume you close the door.
Oh yeah.
And you can hear chink 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 as the armor is running at the door. You have moments to do something. What do you want to do?
Does Sigrid hear this from downstairs?
That's a good question.
Roll a vigilance test, everyone who's downstairs.
Is there another way out of here?
Is there another way out of the library?
No, there is not.
One success also.
Okay.
So I'll say. So then, Rubitega and Yürgan, you both hear this. You both hear like a sudden scream. You hear Caius's cowardly scream.
I know that scream anyway.
That's the sound of Caius. Oh, there must be a Caius in danger somewhere. He's always in danger.
A Caius signal.
But yeah. So so you don't know another way out of the library. There are windows, but you know that the windows themselves are like these very ornate glass windows, and you're on the second floor as well. So that would potentially be a way out.
Be a shame
well,
to break those windows. So.
Given that knowledge, I would find a piece of furniture or something that I could try to quickly shove in front of the door to barricade it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Perhaps like a desk or something.
I'll help. Our two like scrawny selves.
Yeah.
Anders, why don't you roll a force test and take a +1 mod since Caius is helping you?
I'm helping. Like the one that you have like that really worthless friend who's like putting like one hand on the couch.
Listen,
You're
your
talking about me when I
assistance.
move.
Your assistance here puts us at a 3 dice.
I did it.
Do you want to push that? If you push, you're both taking it.
I'll pass.
Okay. And so you try to slide over this armchair, this leather armchair in front of the door. And right as you're pressing it against the door, the door bursts open. And there is now a suit of armor that fully fills up that door frame. And we actually will briefly go into initiative. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw, since I only have one, I'm just going to draw one, and then I'll sort of give you, I'm going to sort of do like cipher system rolls, and some of you can go before and some of you can go after. We'll take it just to make it a little fast. All right, so 3. 2 of you, between everyone downstairs who heard this commotion and in the room itself, can go. I don't care which 2, so just call it out. Just make so we can make this a little faster because I know Gunner's not here and that's kind of sucky.
I'm interested.
Let's have. You said the people downstairs can go, or
Yeah,
the-
anyone who's
any of us?
aware of what's going on. So that's all of you.
Uh,
Only Gunner isn't in this. This is why I don't want to make this last too long.
Yeah.
Fine.
I would
That's
say
better.
Caius or I.
This thing's-
Yeah.
It's
I'll
right
go.
in front of you, and it's
Okay.
almost it's got to maneuver towards you basically, but like it's going to get in range of you. Now there's all sorts of furniture. This is a nice library, places to hide, take cover, etc. What would you like to do, Anders?
I want to grab a lamp or something.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, those are all oil lamps back in this day.
Yeah.
I want to grab a hefty book. And I
Okay.
want to throw it.
I like
at
it.
The suit of armor.
Okay. I like it. Go ahead and roll a ranged combat test.
We're gonna do it's 3 dice. It's better than no dice. No.
Okay. Do you want to push?
Yeah, I'll push.
Go for it. Okay.
Nope.
Oh
You
my
throw
God.
your shoulder out. It's too heavy. It's a really heavy tome.
I grabbed the biggest book I could, and I should have,
You should have
Yeah.
stretched first.
Yeah.
You're a folklore professor. You're probably not swole.
No.
All right. One other person can go. I don't care who. It could be someone here. It could be someone below.
Nobody else is after it. I'm interested in trying to run up and
Okay.
maybe get
Okay.
a shot on it.
Okay. So I'll say it's going to take you both your actions to get up the stairs and into the hallway. So if you want to do that, you'll be in there, but you won't have any actions to fire yet. But you'll sprint up. You have your rifle. You already mentioned it. You have it. So you're up there and you look down the hallway, and you can see a zone away on the other side of you're basically on one end of the zone. It's on a different end of the zone, and you would need to move to get closer, but you can shoot on your next turn. You can see there is a suit of armor in the middle of a doorway going into one of Anders's library, and there is a cowering Caius standing right there. And you watch as this suit of armor moves up, fast action, and then will slow action attack,
Murder.
swinging this rusty broadsword down
Oh, no.
at poor Caius, who has not yet gone.
Don't die.
Okay.
Okay.
I would
Did you
like
want to defend?
I would. Yes.
What do you have on you?
Nothing.
Okay, so you're going to defend because this is a big old broadsword. I'm going to say you're going to defend at a minus
One
2.
second.
Okay.
So it's going to roll. That's 2 successes. Sorry, I still have it on private, but it was 2
Do I
successes.
use force when I'm unarmed to defend?
Yeah, use force.
Okay, so right now I have 0 dice to roll.
Okay.
But
I roll 1 die.
because I'm very frail and no, however, once per can I use my insight?
Yes, you can actually. I'll absolutely accept the insights.
I will use my insight of like the weird surge of supernatural strength to give myself 4 dice.
Wow.
Please
Just
do.
a pure
Awesome.
panic.
Roll well.
Oh no, God no.
Okay, do you want to push that?
Um
I did get 2 successes. I had it on private. I switched it off, but it was 2.
Yep. I want to push it.
Okay, so take a physical and then go ahead and push.
Okay, let's see. I think I am exhausted.
You're about to be dead. Oh,
No!
look at this.
No, no.
You are a freaking superhero, I swear. All right, so
It
Let's
makes no
see.
sense how Caius does this.
all right, so you have an extra success if you want to. You can. You can do a couple things. I'll say you can push him back a little bit. You can make them drop a weapon. You can grapple them. Probably not a good
That would
idea.
be that would be the most hilarious thing if like I accidentally fell on the hand, like not in like any finesseful way, but just like accidentally force it to drop the weapon.
Okay, we'll say that. We'll say you just duck out of the way and just happen to like bump it with your shoulder or something like that, and it just fumbles the broadsword onto the ground. Okay.
This is
Very
great.
nice.
All right. So it just went. So now I'll say Yürgan and Sigrid, you can go. You just saw Rubitega bolt up the stairs.
Bolt after.
Okay. So
Again, I go to do rock, paper, scissors, and Sigurd
Yeah.
just runs off.
both of you basically need to burn both your actions to get up and catch
Yeah.
up.
Sure.
So
I'll
that's
be right
basically what we're
behind.
doing. Okay. So we're back to the top of the round. I want now Caius and Anders, and I definitely want you two to roll fear tests at this point.
Okay. All right. So we're in the same room or same zone together, right?
Yeah, you guys can give each other your bonuses. Yeah, both of you take +1.
That. 2. Okay.
Okay. You're good. Just need to check on Anders. And both of you are good. Both of you are keeping it together. All right. So 2 people can go before this suit of armor goes again.
Mm-hmm.
I'm game for shooting.
I don't really have anything to. I mean, I'm just gonna say Caius would not have the gun on him, so I don't know what to do.
Okay.
I will shoot, if that's all right.
Please just don't shoot me.
It's a rifle with a range 1 to 3.
Yep.
So I don't know if I.
You
need to move
are
up
in
any
range. You're fine.
Okay.
Okay. Go ahead. See if it hits Caius.
My
Do you want to push?
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
Why?
So take a physical condition, and this will. I'm gonna roll its armor because it's literally armor. And let's see. But no, that damage does actually go through. How much damage does it do?
2.
Okay, and you can see that. You can see Caius. A big hole opens up right in the chest, right center mass, and you can see that there's nothing inside. This is just an empty suit of armor staring at you right in the face. Rubitega, you can see there's this little hole of light that you can now see coming from the library itself staring at you.
Oh, this is odd. Nope.
Okay, so somebody else can go too?
Am I up there that I could stab it, or am I gonna have to move again?
You need to move first to get up there, and
Okay,
then
I'll do
if
another
you're
move.
looking to, if you're doing a melee, move up, and then you can attack. Yeah.
Okay. So let me get over. Can I just roll the knife instead of rolling the?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
how I rolled my rifle. It's just right off the combat page.
All right, got a success.
Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna roll its armor again to see if it's able to negate any of your damage. It is not, and so you come up behind it, and you just stab right, almost like right where the hole of the gunshot was, and just start and just tearing through the metal, and it just falls forward onto Caius.
Oh God! Oh God!
Caius,
I'm dying
Caius, roll an agility test because it's funny.
because it's funny.
Because it's funny. Roll an agility test.
Fine. Let me amaze you with my whopping 1 dice.
Okay.
I'm dying.
So Caius is quite literally trapped underneath this.
Oh crap!
this-
I don't have anything left to use that.
I
Do
can
anything.
try and help him up.
All right, so you all chase him down. You help him, everything, and you're all together. Algot and Nadia Strom will be hustling behind you. Gunner, you've got the door busted open, and you hear a gunshot. That you do hear. It's hard to pinpoint exactly where, but you know it's somewhere below you. You can kind of hear it's a little muffled. But you are in a dark and dusky and just musty hallway that vaguely looks like some of the ones that you travel through on the second floor, but you guys haven't really fully explored the top just because it's dangerous. You can see that there's rafters and beams that have collapsed. Some of the walls have collapsed here and there. You can see that there's the rubble of former statues and such that are on the ground. What would you like to do? You're muted, Bert.
You're muted.
Are there windows on either end of the hallway, or do I see a set of stairs down or up?
You do see a window at the far end of the hallway, once again boarded up. You also see a couple doors along the way, some of which the door frames have collapsed. It doesn't look really safe to go inside. Others look like you could probably go in.
Well, I'm looking for stairs. If we are still in an unexplored part of the mansion, I know down is more familiar than up.
Absolutely. Okay. So you start looking around for stairs. You start peeking into rooms, looking at what you can find. At one point, you look down, like as you're kind of going towards that boarded window, you stepping over some beams and such. Everyone's following you. That you can tell. You look back, you can see everyone, and you hear a humming. And you get to kind of a T intersection, so you can continue to go straight towards where that boarded window is, but then you look off to your right and you can see another run of a hallway, and you can see that walking down the hallway is this man with kind of long tail coat kind of covering his back half all the way down to the back of his knees. Seems to be well dressed. You're looking at him from behind. The alarming thing is that he's glowing, and the people behind you suddenly.
That's the question. Yeah, they can see it.
Yes, they all can see it.
All right.
And I need you to go ahead and roll a fear test.
Fancy man.
This can be based off of what again?
Logic or empathy.
Logic or empathy. Logic it is.
I'm gonna roll a couple of these for my
1.
Okay. Do you want to push that?
Is 1 enough?
No, it is not. This is a fear value of 2. So basically what this would mean, you would take 1 mental condition, or you can push, so it's sort of up to you.
Well, either way, I'm going to take a mental condition.
The only difference is that if you pass, that means you don't have to suffer that whole freeze flight.
The fear consequence.
Yeah.
Which is why I pushed mine earlier.
Yeah.
And it still failed.
Yeah, I'll push it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
No.
So you can choose. So take a mental condition. Actually take 2, and then I'm not sure how. And you can choose how you want to react. You either faint, flee, you fight. Whatever.
No, fight. I'm mad.
So you go. Are you going to fight anyone next to you, or are you going to just? You would charge, or charge in at this person in the hallway.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, actually, no. I approach it because this is my domicile. Excuse me, sir.
Okay. And you can hear behind you, people are like freaking out and going in different directions. You hear a thump. You look around, and like you briefly look back, and someone fainted. A couple people disappeared. And as you scream out, "Excuse me, sir," you see this figure just sort of jump and sort of turn and look at you, and they've got this book in their hands, and they see you coming at them, and they're and they just bolt and they run into the wall and dissipate into the wall itself.
Okay. It is more afraid of me than so I'll go to where it disappeared into the wall, and I'll just cross my hands and arms and just start talking to it. It's like, "Look here, sir. I'm one of the new proprietors of this establishment. If you'll kindly introduce yourselves, obviously you have lived here once in the past. Are you aware that you are dead, sir?"
I'll roll a manipulation test, actually. That's pretty good. I like that.
No.
Okay. Did you want to push?
Too many conditions.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I had too many conditions.
Okay.
Yeah.
You don't hear a response. There is a door that goes that's in the wall in the direction that it was going, but you don't hear a response.
Open that door then and try to get to whatever room it went into.
You see a fairly vast room up here that's got all sorts of dusty old scrolls and maps, and I mean, yeah, there's a smorgasbord of crates, and it just looks like no one's been through here in decades. Everything's just covered in dust. All sorts of shelves, and then you can see that there is a tapestry hanging down on the wall, on the far wall. And periodically, you can see as the gust from the wind of the door opening, the tapestry kind of moves. And as it does, like a little spectral nose just sort of sticks out from behind it. You get the feeling that there's something behind it.
Still angry, I will try and calm myself by packing my pipe, lighting my pipe, taking a few puffs, and saying, "Sir, really, this is not very becoming of a man of letters. Please, we need to discuss this."
You can see the face is kind of.
I say, the year is whatever the year is now.
I think like 1840-ish is what we're at.
Yeah. In the month of precisely.
So he leans. Hello. I don't want any trouble.
Nor do I. So please, Gunner Arrowwood, a short, small brow.
And that
Who do I have the pleasure of speaking?
Just the head is sticking out of the tapestry. Erling Vollen?
Erling Vollen. Does that spark any memories from reading about the people who have owned the place?
Roll a learning test. Take say +1.
Okay.
Had some time. Okay. Sounds vaguely familiar. You think, actually, that Linnea might have mentioned his name at some point.
Okay. Are you familiar with Linnea?
And you can see, like, his face kind of, like a little grin kind of shows. Linny. Yes, little Linny. Yes. Yeah.
Not so little now. She is matured to however old she is.
Just like Dogmore's age.
Yeah. She's matured to a grand 75.
Oh, I haven't.
Many years have passed, my friend. Things are quite different now. Please, this is unbecoming. Step forward. I mean, you know malice.
So he very gingerly steps out from behind the tapestry. And what you see is a fairly scrawny-looking man, dressed very well, dressed kind of like Caius. Very frail looking. Got kind of a big honker of a nose, kind of an Ichabod Crane type, if you want to think about it in those terms. And he's got a big old book in his hand that he keeps kind of fiddling with here and there. It's too has that sort of same spectral glowy quality to it. As you're kind of talking to him, you can see every now and then there's like a little kind of a shimmer, and you can see that the contour of his face just sort of changes and twists, and then he's just almost looks like he's taking a deep breath to calm himself. And he says, "Is Linny here?"
Unfortunately, she is frail. She has sent one of her associates, though. I'm sorry, I forgot the woman's name.
Ava Blomberg, yeah. He probably wouldn't know her because Ava's fairly, it's basically like a young nurse. Like she's just not affiliated specifically with the society or anything.
So one of her nurses has come in her stead, I'm afraid. Are you, in fact, aware of the passage of time, or have I somehow come to your time?
I have been here for I haven't seen anyone for a significant period. I think I don't have a watch anymore. You see him kind of start going through his pockets. I have no watch anymore. Are you with the society?
Indeed I am. The society dwelling, this castle Gillenkritz.
Yep.
Gillenkritz has been deeded to the new members of the society. I'm afraid there are no surviving members from the old, with the exception of...
Oh, Lenny is okay. Is Olga? We were all good friends. Could you
Tell me, since he's speaking more,
Yeah.
I will take out the letters and kind of lay them on a just something between us so that I don't spook him.
Yeah.
Being a man who studies such tomes, can you tell me about these? We received this nailed to the back door this evening, and some very strange occurrences are happening.
And you see
A
him.
fog
Yeah.
is whelming to the gates.
Oh. I see. And you see him sort of step forward, and he reaches into his little vest and he pulls out little spectral glasses and puts them on. Kind of peeks down and looks and kind of reads over them. He's like, oh, that's very interesting. A fog. Oh, I see. Has it penetrated the grounds?
No, it hasn't. It seems to be at bay at the walls.
That it's this close at all is concerning indeed. Yes.
What is its provenance?
I'm not sure. Clearly, it's an attack on the castle. We went through several of these in my time here, some from without and some from within. But we have many defenses. Well, we had many defenses, and this, if they're holding, then that is well. But if it's this close at all, it should be nothing of this strength should be anywhere near here.
You should know that the learning, your accumulated knowledge has been lost. There has not been a society member within these holdings for some time, and we have only recently taken possession of it. We've yet to breach the third floor. I assume that's where we are.
Yes, this was my study at one point, this gallery here. But sadly, Rutger had other ideas. And
if there were rites necessary to keep the protections going, they have not been performed in some time.
Oh dear. Oh. Well, you should tend to that then. I shouldn't keep you any longer.
If I knew how, I would love to do nothing but, sir.
Oh.
As I said, none of our predecessors' knowledge has come to us.
I see. I imagine that is Rutger's doing, unfortunately. I can help you with this, would you? But I have a condition, if you would.
I'll nod to him.
Please tell Linny I would very much like to see her again, if possible.
I look around the room and say, is there some token in here she would recognize?
Oh, he kind of looks around and he sort of points to a kind of a small little kind of dusty statue. Thanks for the sub there, Malorian. Points to a little dusty statue like over on one of the shelves. Oh, yes, that right there. It's we found that together, she and I, when we were very far north. It's a little, well, a troll gave it to us, if you ask. But it's a long story, and you don't have time. But yes, we're good friends.
I'll take it. Her condition comes and goes. There are days when she is able to visit. I will make sure she does so, assuming we can survive this.
But thank you. And so he just, well, very simply, there are 4 wards in each of the corners of the grounds. The northeast corner, the southwest corner, the southeast corner, and the northwest. There is you will find a small brick or stone of some kind, and it will have a bit of an inscription. If they have eroded, or if someone has broken this particular brick, it's possible that has lessened the protection on the grounds. So you will need to reascribe it, of course, and sprinkle a little salt, mumble a few words, and he kind of repeats the words to you, and that is all. That is all.
The images, can you point me to something in this room that they might be on? If thinking back, we're having construction being done, so it is entirely possible that something has been broken or disturbed.
Oh, it wouldn't be in here. It would be outside on the grounds. There's still a beautiful oak tree by the river, and over by the boathouse underneath the docks, and
Yes.
another over by the cemetery, where some rest, and then over by the hedge maze in the southeast.
And the inscriptions, in case they need to be reinscribed.
Ooh. And you can see he just starts to really, really concentrate. And then he reaches a hand out and tries to draw in the dust. And you can see he draws these little runes like this. And when he's done, his face just sort of shifts and changes. You see like this terrible, like almost like a skeletal face, like an Indiana Jones moment, like where the ark was just opened, suddenly appear, and he kind of shakes it off and
I will appear very offended and say, "Sir, maintain control."
I'm very sorry. I'm very
Rather unseemly.
Nice.
I'll take out my journal and just quickly jot down what they look like.
Okay.
And lastly, how do I get back downstairs?
Oh, there, and he kind of points. There's a staircase in that direction, and if you go down the hallway to the pigeon loft, there is a staircase that goes down into one of the libraries. Not a staircase, I'm sorry, a ladder that goes down into one of the libraries.
I will see to the wards and make sure that Lenny comes to visit as she is able.
Oh, excellent. Thank you. It was a pleasure to speak with you. Your name again, sir?
Gunner Arrowwood.
Thank you. Now, if you'll excuse me, and you see him just go ahead and put his glasses away, and he starts to wander off and just casually walks through a wall.
Yeah.
And at that point, you feel an intense cold again emanating from the envelope that you have, by the way.
Yeah, not good. All right, who's dying now? Take a look.
Yeah, and you do in fact have another death certificate that kind of shows up. This one was one of the workers that was with you.
Ugh.
And you look around and you realize that she is not here. You go back out, you see a couple people are getting up off the ground where they fainted. People are coming back together, and they're looking around. There's one person missing, and it is the workwoman.
Right. I don't tell any of this and say, "This way, if you wish to remain with your hides intact, follow me."
And it's at that point that you kind of go over and you find this hatch door. You creech up the hatch door. Those of you in the library, Anders and Caius, you look up and you can suddenly see you just hear a dust just drops down on top of Caius, who just got out from underneath of this big old armor suit. And you look up and there is the face of Gunnar looking down. He's about 12 feet up in the air. He's a fairly high ceilings, looking down at you all.
Hello there.
Long story short, we have 4 stones that need to be checked upon. I look around. Can someone roll that ladder this way, please?
I'll roll the ladder over there.
So you
Yep. I show them the inscriptions and tell them the locations: the oak, the cemetery, the boathouse, the hedge maze, and what needs to be done. I believe that speed is of the essence. We should perhaps divide and conquer.
Oh, that sounds terrifying.
Oak.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take the boathouse then.
Let me keep track of who's going where, because I gotta know who's gonna die.
Yep.
Anders, boathouse.
Where's that detective?
Actually,
I'll have the detective come with me.
Yeah, I was going to say we should pair up.
Yeah.
Rutabaga, we've spent the better part of a day together. I'm not quite tired of you yet. Would you accompany me to the hedge maze?
Certainly.
Okay. Who's going elsewhere? So we've got boat, hedge. You've got oak, and then you've got cemetery.
Caius, you should take the cemetery.
Cemetery sounds fun.
No, I specifically called the oak so I didn't have to go to the cemetery or the hedge maze. No.
Okay. As
I
you
can go to the oak because I was just there.
Okay.
Sort of.
That sounds great. Yeah.
you were closer to the cemetery. Oak is in the southwest. You were closer to like basically center east. So if you would have went a little further north of the kennel is the cemetery. South of the kennel is the hedge maze.
Oh, I thought the oak is where we went out the front gate just now at the fog.
No, the oak is in the southwest. It's on the bank of the river.
Either way, I'll go to oak.
Okay. All right. You all start moving down the hallway, and you pass by once again the little library the little dining room, and you look over, and you can see perched right there in one of these high-backed chairs. There is the body of Olivia Person, one of the workers who's been working on your home. She is face down in a giant bowl of soup and appears to not be moving.
Oh my.
I'll go examine the body. And...
Okay. You go over and you can see that she is most certainly dead. And you pull the face back. You can see that there's burns all over her face. And you can see that the soup is pea soup.
Ah. Can I get like an
bad.
estimate of how long she's been dead? Like, does it look really recent?
The soup is incredibly hot, and the fact that it kind of burns you a little bit as you pull it up. Everyone go ahead and roll a fear test. I'll say Gunner, you're okay because I think you knew this was coming, but everybody else go ahead and roll a fear test.
We get the +2 now that we're together if we have that.
All
talent.
you're together, so go ahead and take +3.
Ooh.
Because that's the max you can take, and you're all next to each other.
What is a fear? Is either a logic or
empathy?
right?
You choose what you want, and then you roll it.
Come on.
Come
Come on.
Of course, you fail the one that you have 1,000 dice on. Okay.
Okay.
My goodness.
So
None of us are meant to pass anything. at this point.
everybody but Sigrid and Gunner, you have to you're all like, this is freaking out. This woman's that you were just here. She's like literally 5 minutes ago. You didn't see anyone go in. There's no other way into this room. And not only is she dead, but there's a scalding hot bowl of soup in here. Ooh, I almost just knocked over a lamp. That could have been bad.
I almost had some of that soup.
Yeah. So all of you go ahead, and all of you with the exception of Gunner and Sigrid take a mental condition and choose how are you reacting in this moment? Freezing, fainting, like just what's your initial kind of freak out moment for the
I think
fear?
somebody needs to faint. I think it needs to happen, and I think it should be me.
Caius collapsed to the ground.
I feel like I'd be freezing just at like realizing how hot it is, and I'm like, they have to be like right here. So I just imagine freezing up and like slowly scanning like where the heck did whoever did this go.
Okay. And so
I
as
think for me, it's gonna be just pushing right along to where we're going.
okay, all right, you just start storming out and away, like almost like fleeing, basically. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah. I don't know. I'll get the shakes a little bit, go completely hopeless. Like, shit, we're all gonna die. Oh, I might as well go get a drink.
Okay.
Like, does anyone know her full name, how old she was,
And so you see
and the time?
the third worker that's been here. He steps up. And, oh my goodness. Oh goodness. Oh dear. I knew her very well. She's the one who gave me the job. Oh goodness. She had a little boy. She was trying to put him through schooling and such. Wanted him to go to university. She did.
Oh no.
Sigrid is gonna go kind of say some final rites over her.
Okay, fair enough. But you can see the NPCs that you have with you are starting to freak out a little bit.
So is the PCs you have with you too.
Yeah, everyone's just starting to panic at this point.
Sigrid will say, "We think we have something to do, but we're gonna need to go do it."
Okay. So at this point, Gunner, you feel this coldness again kind of wash over you, and you look around, and everyone's accounted for. Everyone's accounted for. And while this is happening, Anders, like the detective, grabs you by your, like, basically by the cuff of your, like, your, just the scruff of your shirt, and just slams you against the wall, like, what are you doing here? I know it's you. I know it's you. And he's like, you can see that he has completely lost all sense of reasoning. He just seems angry and pissed off. And you can see him kind of almost like he's reaching for something in his jacket. Like he's reaching for almost like a weapon or some such.
Oh no. Is there anything nearby that I can grab in hand?
Candlestick or something, sure.
I'll
Full of hot pea soup.
grab a candlestick
Okay.
and just smash it into his temple.
Roll a close combat.
Okay. Oh, I got a point.
And it hits him, and he kind of he's taken aback by it, and he's that's assaulting a police officer.
You, my friend, were about to kill me.
I wasn't about to kill you. I was getting answers.
You were reaching into your weapon or your coat for a weapon.
Sigrid is going to try to interrupt us.
Okay.
And just try to grab the cop and just say, we have something to do. This is only going to get worse. Come with me. And I'm going to see
I'll
if I
start
can just
patting the side of
take
his
him
head
with
with
me.
some gauze. And...
roll a manipulation test, Sigrid.
Okay.
I can't have you getting this on the carpet.
Success.
Okay. And he mumbles a bit, and he decides to. This isn't over. This isn't over, Professor.
Remind me to take you on one of my next educational outings.
Oh, so you can get me killed too?
Just like, shush, both of you. Just
I think that's exactly what you were implying. Are you admitting to it? Finally?
as I'm dragging him away.
Okay. So you drag him away. A couple of
I'm
you are
just going to
starting
say, like,
inside.
we're going to the oak.
Okay. So you start heading out, going towards the oak. Okay, so I've got who's going where? I've got Sigrid, and I've got the detective. You're going to the oak. I've got
Because Caius, you froze, right? You fainted. So you're
I
not
just
going anywhere.
fainted.
you
Yeah,
can
definitely.
smash, like in this type of situation, you can get him back pretty quickly. It's more just sort of like for the
Mhm.
Yeah.
Is everything okay now? Did you guys get the corners?
Wishful thinking.
You are not that lucky, my friend.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So then we've got that. Who's going to the hedge? I know Anders is going to the boat.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm going to the hedge with Rubatega.
Okay. So Rube and Gunnar. Yürgan, where are you headed?
The cemetery.
Attaboy.
Alone?
I guess.
You can
No,
grab
there
an
should be
NPC.
two people
So
each.
there's a worker left, so the worker can go with you.
Yep.
The detective's already going with Sigrid. And then Anders, are you going by yourself to the boat?
Initially, I was going to take the detective, but I think that's a bad idea now.
Never get anything done.
Okay.
So I think so.
Okay. All right.
You can
We'll say Algot can go with you or something.
Okay.
The old man.
Wait, what's
Take
Paul?
Oh no,
gonna do?
take red shirt.
Oh yeah. Well,
Yeah,
you
I'll
haven't
take
seen
Paul.
Red Shirt actually since he handed over the envelope.
All right.
Oh,
I'll
no.
take Algot.
Okay. All right. So you all.
I'll ask the worker, like, want to come see some not so fresh dead bodies? And that's my pitch to go to the
He kind of
cemetery.
looks at you. He looks back at his friend and he says, "That's pretty callous of you."
Just trying to lighten the mood. Let's go. And I'm just,
And then
Yeah.
you see him kind of exhale, and then he goes off with you. So you guys are all starting to split off in the different directions. And Gunnar, that's when you get that kind of cold feeling that starts to sort of wash over. Do you look, or do you just let it go?
Nope, not even.
Not even gonna look.
There's a job to do.
Yeah. So you start
Okay.
heading over. Everyone goes into their various sections. Go ahead and roll, just to make this a little faster because we're running out of time. Go ahead and just roll investigation tests as you just are randomly like looking around. Normally you would just tell me where you're looking, and if you say the right thing, you find it. But just roll an investigation test to see how long it takes you to find it, basically. Okay.
I think that's 3 between the two of us.
Okay. So we'll go ahead and start by the oak, which is where Sigrid and the detective are. Sigrid, you failed, actually. So the two of you are just looking around. Did you push?
No, I was rolling for my paper and pen.
Okay.
And now I will push.
Okay. So the two of you...
All right, I got a success.
Okay. You're looking around and you're looking around, and it's taking a while. You can hear the sounds of the river, even though you can't really see it because of the fog. The whole time, like, the detective, it's just like mumbling under his breath, and he's sort of saying all sorts of these awful things, primarily about Anders, but he also mentions Yürgan, and he says they're going to pay for what they did. They're going to pay, and anyone who helps them is going to pay. Shut up! Shut up! I know! And then he kind of looks over, and at this point, you've found that kind of at the base of the oak, underneath this gnarled root, there is this large brick.
So seeing what I just saw, I'm going to try to give him a job to do. Like, hey, can you... I thought I saw something over there. Can you keep an eye on that for me?
Okay.
So I'm going to... I just want to make sure I can get this done quickly, just to make sure he doesn't decide to go wacky and, like, sabotage what I'm doing.
Okay. Roll a manipulation test.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Hang on. That's going to be contested.
Oh, damn.
All right. Okay. Do you want to push?
Yes, I will.
Okay, go ahead. Okay.
Still have one.
So you tell him to go somewhere
Pushing
else,
has not been
and he
kind.
starts wandering away, and he's like, he's fine. I will stuff. And he starts wandering over to do whatever it is you told him to do while you start tending to it. When you look down at the brick, you can see that there's a small little sigil similar to what Gunnar had described, but you can tell that the brick itself has been kind of fractured over time. But there's a couple other of these. You can find spaces where you can probably recarve it. At some point, you're going to need to do a real remasoning of this, but you can probably temporarily kind of carve it into the wood of the tree, or you could do something like that. Let's go over to then the boat. So then I think I saw you were successful, Chuck. Yeah, you and Algot, you find it pretty quickly. You know that it was underneath the dock. So, Algot's kind of an old man, and so he's letting you climb underneath, and you're kind of getting covered. And you find this completely out of place brick that's just embedded into this retaining wall on the side underneath the dock itself. And you can see once again it seems like it's been smashed in some way. Like it's still there, but not quite.
Yeah.
It's largely intact, but you again figure you probably want to reattest to this. But you take a few minutes. Meanwhile, Al gets kind of saying, back when we haven't had this kind of excitement in years, and he's just sort of recalling these crazy old moments where he's had instances of this in the past with, some of the previous inhabitants. Because you remember his family was long been stewards of this castle.
Okay.
Over by the hedge. So same deal. The Ribitega and Gunnar. Yeah, you can see like the hedge maze itself isn't particularly well kept yet. You don't actually have a gardener on staff yet, but you've done enough to kind of keep it in some semblance of condition. You can say at some point there probably were bushes that were carefully shaped into the figures of animals or humans or Vaesen or something like that kind of had it. There's a nice fountain in the middle, and it's in that fountain that you can see underneath this dank, like mildewy, like gross mossy water that you can see. This one seems to be in intact. Like you look down, it's gross. You just kind of clean it up a bit, but it doesn't look as though it's been smashed in any particular way.
Sprinkle some more salt, anyways, for good measure.
Sure. Yeah, you do that, and everything sort of feels fine. Yürgan, you head over towards the cemetery, and as you're walking past, you notice something sort of strange. First of all, there's a hill behind the chapel grounds. You and the worker are walking past, and you can see that there's these handful of crosses. And these crooked crosses, you've seen them before. There's a cemetery, they're unnamed, etc. Except one of them, you can see that there's a body that is literally impaled on top of one of the crosses themselves, just sitting on it. And once you get close, you can see that the other worker with you, his name is Kenneth, he starts running up, and he's like, no. And he's just like, no. And he looks back at you, and he's got this like just utterly pissed off look on his face, like it's your fault somehow. What did you roll on your investigation?
2.
Yeah,
2 successes.
you can find that it's not a headstone, but it's some kind of marker. On the it's just a couple feet away from the outer gate. And you hear he just keeps muttering, no. You bend down, you kind of take a look. It seems to be intact. And no, it wasn't supposed to be them. It wasn't supposed to. It was supposed to be you. It was supposed to be you. And you turn back, and he's got this gun pointed directly at you. It was supposed to be you, and it was supposed to be the professor, and it was supposed to be your friends. They said it was going to target you.
Who is they, may I ask?
God's eyes are always watching, and they've been watching since you let her die. Since you let her die, and since your friend got her near death to begin with. You just go about your business like it's nothing.
Too many vague terms. Who is she?
My sister. Of course you don't remember her. You don't remember her at all. A year ago.
I mean, I might.
Midsummer's night, she came to your hospital with wounds, they said, from a bear attack. But they were no bear attack. You know they were no bear attack. And what did you do? You just sat there and you just poked at her and saw her as some sort of curiosity. You couldn't even help her, could you? You just let her die right there on your table. You could have saved her, but no. You had to just... You looked at her as an experiment, not as a person. And this whole time, you've been living, and she hasn't. And you've been here, in this place, in this castle.
I'm just like slowly trying to put like a gravestone between myself and him.
You don't really have gravestones. They're really just like these rickety crosses.
Oh.
That ends tonight, Doctor. That ends tonight. And so he's going to pull the trigger. And he's going to fire at you.
Oh no!
No!
You're the worst two to have together.
I know.
Somehow, and unfortunately, like it kind of narratively had to be because he needed to find the dead body on the cross.
That shouldn't have been a push. Sorry.
To write the death certificate.
Okay. Sorry. I didn't mean to push that. That's not a push. That's for something else. Oh, I'm losing track of things. Too many things. There's like 100 NPCs I have up on my screen.
That's fine.
Okay. He shoots 2 successes. Why is that showing up private? Sorry. 2 successes on the roll.
Okay. What do I do about that?
So you can, because this is happening, I'll say if you want, you can kind of roll to defend. You can roll agility to try to dodge out of the way or something if you like.
I would like to. I don't know how well that will work.
Okay. So he just fired. It's just a basic revolver that he fired at you. So hang on one sec. I realized that I don't have this set up. Okay, so two successes would be 3 total damage.
Okay.
Okay.
Wow. How does that apply? Is that like conditions?
Yeah. So 3 conditions, 3 physical conditions.
That puts me at broken.
Okay. Roll.
You already had one physical condition, or
Yep.
Okay, so roll a critical injury.
All right. How do I do that?
So there is in the rollable table section, you can see critical injury tables, and you want to roll from the physical critical injury table.
Rollable tables.
Yeah, so it's
It looks like an
right,
outline.
Yeah, it's right next
The
to the journal
hamburgers.
entries. The hamburgers.
I always called it the hamburger menu. You know, the 3 bars.
So it's to the right of where the journal entries are.
Physical critical injuries.
Yeah,
36.
physical critical injuries. Okay.
Okay. How do I?
At the bottom, there's a roll button.
A bottom roll. Okay.
Okay.
Oh no.
Okay.
Oh,
All right.
Oh no.
Okay.
So all of you hear a gunshot ring out.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
We're all done with our tasks.
You're done, and Gunnar and Rubatega are done.
Done.
Caius, where did you go again? I totally forget.
well, initially I had signed on to go to the Oak, but then other people went. So I give maybe with Caius's complete failure, he's
He's sitting on the stoop. Where would you want to go? I would say, like, we could say you're with Rubatega and Gunnar. We could say you're with Anders and Frisk. Anders and Frisk would probably make the most sense. There's only one.
makes sense.
Okay, so we'll say So the 3 of you are together, and you hear a gunshot go off.
Can we tell the direction?
It's you. For you, it's to the east. Gunnar, Rubatega, it's to the north. Sigrid, you can faintly hear it, like it's this little pop in the complete opposite side of the grounds. But when you, Sigrid, go to move, you can see that the detective has a gun pointed at you, hands kind of shaking a bit, and he says, "Did you know? Shut up! Shut up! Did you know?
Good sir, who are you talking to?
Did you know what they did to my niece? Do you know?"
I don't believe I did.
Do we believe her? Do we believe her? I don't. I don't know. I don't know. And then he's gonna fire.
Oh my gosh.
Oh.
Oh no.
Alrighty.
Butler doesn't have a gun.
That's 1 success. Go ahead and roll agility if you want to try to dodge behind the oak or something.
I would like to.
The
And I
butler's.
don't.
Oh my gosh. The butler's gonna be so excited about all this mystery. He's gonna try and murder you too.
Okay. Do you want to push? If you push, you're taking your physical,
Oh.
and then you have the potential.
Doran did buy a
I've got
6 earlier.
6.
Did he?
I've got a 6. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So you can go ahead and dodge behind the oak.
Thank
and
you, Jordan.
you can hear the bullet kind of cut into the wood itself, and he's just like rambling madly, like he's just like, it's like he's talking to himself, like he's talking to somebody. He just doesn't. He's just completely out of whack. Everybody hears a second shot go off.
Oh my gosh.
So, Gunnar, Rubatega, Anders, Caius, what are y'all doing?
The gunshot. Yes, Bottega.
I heard 2. Which one do we want to split up and go to them separately, or take one of them?
No, take one. Closest. Which one?
To the north.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
closest to us.
Okay.
Which would be closest from the boathouse?
To the south.
Well,
Okay.
Along the
Caius-
river. Basically, it's along the river. You heard something along the river.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's run to the gunshot. Great.
Let's at least pretend to be brave for a few minutes.
Okay.
I'm great at pretending.
You still have your gun?
No.
Okay.
It was a dinner party, I thought. Like I don't bring a gun to a dinner party.
That's absolutely fair. Well,
I'll pick up a rock.
There you
I'll-
go.
I'll grab a rock or a piece of driftwood or something like that.
Okay.
This is gonna go. We're gonna die.
You see Algot is like putting on a knuckle duster, like It's been a while since I've gotten in a rough and tumble, but not on my grounds.
I'm
Come
so
on.
glad you look competent.
Okay.
I hope Dogmore comes riding in on a pack of dogs to save the day.
That's
How do you
the
know he's not
direction
dead
that's-
already?
Oh no! No! Oh.
So
direction Sacred came from. So yeah.
okay, so you two and Algot start running southwardly. Gunnar, Ribotega, you're running to the northeast corner. Cemetery. Yürgan, you're crawling. He's walking up close to you, and he starts talking a little bit about. No, they haven't, Malorian. They might not, depending on how things go, but we'll see. Walks up close to you, and you can see that the gun's still in his hand. And he says, "You don't even remember her name, do you? You don't even remember, do you?"
Could I make a test to see if I remember her name?
Sure. Why not? Even though we're not really supposed to do tests when you're broken, I think that would make sense in this case. Go ahead.
Oh, okay, right.
No, I would say go ahead and roll your empathy.
Keep in mind.
Just roll straight empathy.
Straight empathy.
Let's see if you would remember her name. Like, see if you're a caring enough person to remember her name.
See if I'm an awful person or not.
Exactly.
Pretty much.
Wow.
Oh goodness.
You do. Her name is Ulla Magnuson.
Oh.
And you know that she came into your hospital a year ago, Midsommar. She was one of a handful of students that were on a trip with Professor Anders, who were attacked.
Oh God.
Questionable means. Oh my
Hello.
God! Speaking of being attacked, oh dear God!
Oh God. No.
there goes Rubitega. And while you were kind of examining her, she was babbling about seeing something, and her wounds looked peculiar to you. And rather than immediately stitch her up, you were just kind of examining kind of the different, like there was some sort of magical residue that was causing certain strange functions within the organs itself. And you were kind of just tinkering for a bit, and eventually she died. Not that you didn't try at all, just your curiosity.
Nope, that's
yeah,
that's
that's your dark
my
secret.
character's dark secret is
Yeah.
I get more carried away by the craziness of all the other world than people's lives sometimes.
So what do you say to him? I'll give you a
So-
chance to say something to him.
I would definitely. I would just slowly say her name. It's like Olga, and see if he like reacts at all to.
Okay. Did you
Let's say it.
purposely say the wrong name, or did you just
No,
not?
I
Okay.
didn't
Okay.
remember it.
It was-
It's
oh,
fine.
okay. So he thinks about it for a second. He says, Why didn't you save her? You could have saved her.
Medicine's a delicate trade. I did my best, and she unfortunately didn't make it.
That's not.
She gave it a good fight, but wasn't able to hold on.
That's not what they said. That's not your lying. And then he's gonna pull the trigger again.
I'm gonna be just in the mid sentence of saying that's not what they said. As I'm pointing to the guy on the cross, and then
Okay, roll another physical injury.
Oh no.
another physical injury.
Yeah, as you all critical injury, as you all hear the gunshot go off again.
No.
Oh dear.
So he shoots your foot off, basically. Okay. All right. Over by the oak tree. I'm gonna roll 50-50. We'll see who gets to go first. So do you want high or low, Melissa?
Low.
Okay, so 1 to 3, you'll go first. Okay, so you get an action. You're hiding behind this oak, this big old oak tree. You've heard gunshots from other places on the grounds. You've got this guy who's on the other side of this tree who's pointing a gun at you and firing at you and talking all sorts of madness.
Okay. I think all I really have that I can do is try to stab him with the trowel thingy.
So you're gonna move at him. Oh, this is what I like. Okay, so you're gonna move your fast action to run out from behind the tree, and then go ahead and roll your close combat to attack. Take a +1 for the trowel.
All right.
Did you go charging in at him? I like it.
Got a success.
Okay. He does not have any. Yeah, I don't have any armor, so he will take a damage. Okay. So but he's still standing, and you can see he kind of looks at it, and there's like a little dribble of like this, like kind of saliva kind of coming out this corner of his mouth a little bit. You can see his eyes are just completely dilated, like he's on something, like he's been very aggressive. Like you've all met him before, and he's been a little bit more aggressive than normal tonight. But it's been a weird night. Okay, so
Can I actually bless my trowel for a +2?
in combat, would that be an action?
I'm not sure. It's
In combat,
just a.
I think in combat would probably be something like a fast action, but then you'd probably have to use your fast action to move.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, but you still got damage through on him, and so you've stabbed him,
Okay.
and so he will. Okay, I think what he'll then do is he will.
I have faith in my.
He's just gonna stab you. You can see that he's got gun in one hand, knife in the other. It's glinting in the light, and he's just going to try to stab you, I think.
Okay. And I can't do anything to defend because I already.
No, yeah, you can't.
Do
'cause
you have defensive?
Yeah.
Oh,
unless
yeah, I do.
You
That's
do.
right.
Okay, so you'll be able to roll this. So he's not as good in melee actually, but let's see. Yeah. That's one
Got
success.
to wear my bulletproof vest tonight.
Okay. And so I would be dodging with.
So if you're using your trowel, just you can roll close combat.
Okay.
Since we
+1 again.
Yeah. We'll treat it like it's like basically a knife.
Success.
Okay, and you manage to just sort of bypass, like he pushes him off to the side. He gets a little off balance.
And I'm gonna yell for help.
Okay. At this point, I'll say everybody has been running and burning both their fast and their slow actions to try to close the distance as much as possible. I'll have all 4 of you that have been closing distance. We'll say roll a vigilance test to see if you can see them in the distance. So go ahead and roll that right now. So that's Gunnar, Anders, Rubitega, and Caius. Okay. So Rubitega and Gunnar, you see that there is a man pointing. You can see the silhouette of a gun. There's a lantern on the ground nearby, and there's another man on the ground. When you look, I'll say that you can probably tell between the two of you that the one that's standing and holding the gun is not Yürgan, and Yürgan is the one that you knew was coming out here. And you see the gun go off as it's kind of firing down onto whoever's on the ground. On the other side of it, Anders, you can't quite see. It's kind of dark here and there. The fog is beginning to lift, but Caius, you notice that Sigrid and the detective are apparently trying to stab one another, fighting. Like they're just like there's a scrum going on. So I'll put you all, we'll say 2 zones away. Everyone's kind of 2 zones away from their respective corners. So if you have anything that can attack from 1 or 2 zones away, so if you have like a ranged weapon on you, that's...
I think my rifle can.
Okay, so you can get a shot off if you want. Gunner, if you have a ranged weapon on you that's only a 1, you can always... Okay, so you can just keep moving if you want.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, so you just keep
Okay.
charging in. Ribitega, go ahead and roll your attack. I'm going to say -1 just because it's a little dark, it's a little distant, and it's kind of hard to see. But go ahead and make your attack. Caius will assume you'll convey everything over to Anders that he didn't see.
Okay. 1 success.
Okay. So that will actually do damage to him. And you'll see as you're standing there, Yürgan, and he's getting ready to fire one more time. Like he's literally pulling back on the hammer. And all of a sudden, his head just out one side, and he just sort of collapses down on top of you. out.
All right.
On the other side, do either of you have ranged weapons?
Rocks?
No.
You can throw if you want to throw.
I mean, try
Okay.
stabbing cigarettes, so yes.
Okay. Go ahead, and I'll say move up one to get within one zone, and then we'll say throw a rock.
Okay.
Don't hit me in the head.
Very hard not to.
Wow.
Ow!
I quit.
I hope you shut your eyes and turned away before you threw it.
It probably is. It makes no sense.
I can't imagine it'd be fatal, but you definitely beamed him with a rock.
You
Eh.
you see coming from a distance, there's this rock just hurtles through the night and smashes up against him. He stumbles down, but doesn't fully fall. Anders, did you want to try to do the same thing?
I didn't pick up a rock. I picked up a piece of stick.
Okay.
Like a driftwood, like a cudgel.
Okay. All right. Sigrid, high or low again?
Oh.
All right. For this time, he's gonna go first. He will. Blood pouring down the side of his face where he just got smashed in the head with a rock from out of nowhere. Why do I allow those rolls? And he will go ahead.
Can't push a desk, but can bean someone from a mile away.
I know.
And dazed, confused, a little bit out of it, he's trying to stab away and he misses. Sigrid, what do you want to do?
Hit him back.
Okay, go ahead. Roll your attack.
Success.
And that's enough. As you stab into him, like right, you catch him right in the base of his throat, and his eyes just kind of go really wide at that point. And he just falls down to the ground.
We're gonna have no end of trouble from this.
All right. We'll handle these quickly because it's getting pretty late. We've got two scenes. We've got in the northeast corner where Yürgan is bleeding and his spine is terribly injured. We'll handle the heal rolls and stuff off air. In the southwest corner, you can see that the man that you knew as Detective Rune Magnuson is laying on the ground. When you were kind of stabbing him a bit, you noticed that there was he kept kind of reaching for something inside of his coat. Anders, you noticed it as well. When you come up, Anders, you start kind of going through his things. Sigrid, you're probably taking a breath. Caius is there doing Caius things. And you notice a small cigarette case, Anders, that has a symbol on it that you have seen before.
Is it the swirly eye thing?
It is the swirly eye thing.
Oh no.
And as you're kind of reaching in, you think he's dead, but he reaches up and he grabs you. And he says, "God is watching." And he just kind of completely collapses at that point. You look at the tin and you can hear something rattling around inside.
I'll open it up.
You open it up and you can see, so if you've forgotten, I'll show you the symbol on the case. Again, it's like Chuck said, it's the, you've seen it before on the...
We had like a patch and a signet ring or something like that.
Right, exactly. So that was on the, it's kind of engraved into the tin. So it's basically like an eye with little curlies on the sides. And then the second thing you see inside when you open up the tin is, Anders, you see that there's something crawling around and moving on the inside. And you realize it's some kind of bug. And it looks like that. I just showed it to the to the players at this point.
Oh.
Oh no.
It's
that's fucked up.
it's about yay big, and it's got these little blue scales with these tiny little spikes here and there. It's almost got these limp bat-like wings and all sorts of spikes, and it's kind of looking up at you, and you can hear this little sort of whisper begin to float into your ears, Anders.
I'll close the case.
Okay.
Set it on the ground.
Okay.
And then just stomp the shit out of it.
All right. And you just stomp away.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And then in the northeast corner, as you're going through, you can see he's got a gun on him. You're checking in on Yürgan, who's bleeding. He's got, when you look at the gun is actually quite nice. Much better than you would imagine a small construction worker would be able to carry. Like, it's engraved, and you can see engraved on the side, or excuse me, on the underside of the handle is that same kind of symbol, that little eye with the curlies on the side. But he's completely out. He's dead. He's got a big hole in his head. And as you guys are sitting here going through their things with these dead bodies, you watch as the fog surrounding the grounds of Castle Gillencrutz begins to fade and lift. And you can see its night sky comes out from behind it. And that's where we're going to end.
Oh gosh. I don't know if we really figured much out.
How did we not die?
'Cause Caius cheats.
I do.
That's how.
That's what I do.
That sounds right.
Okay. So yeah. So for those who are watching and wondering what Vaesen was responsible, Anders just smashed it. We'll talk if they decide to try to learn more about it later. Maybe I'll mention it, but you all probably know what it is. There's only one tiny bug like Vaesen that's in the book. That's the bug like Vaesen. But that's it. That's the one shot. That's how we're doing.
Pretty fun.
Survived.
Yeah.
We survived.
And I only got a spinal injury.
We'll roll to see if you live.
Yeah.
We'll do that off air.
Yeah.
Fun.
And then to see if you keep the injury or not too.
Malorian, yeah, we play Vaesen every other Monday on the Free League Publishing channel. On the Mondays in between, we play on our own channel, twitch.tv/the Lollygaggers. We're playing an Alien game currently, and so you can catch some of the people that you see right now are in that game as well. So we kind of take turns on which Mondays what we're doing. Melissa and I also play some Mutant Year Zero on our channel as well. We're not playing this week, but we're playing on November 7th. We've been going through the Gen Lab Alpha Escape from Paradise a game. It's really, really fun. So yeah, I know it's just hard to play all these games. Most of the people on the screen only really certain people on the screen only have like Monday availability, and so we play games like every night. So it's kind of just got to do your best to figure out the nights where people can do stuff. So I think we'll go ahead and do XP and stuff off air so we can get out because we're pretty late. So let's do some closing plugs. Bart, where can they find your podcast?
Of Steam, Steel, and Murder. You can find it at bluemagic.com, BLUMAGIK. Good stuff there.
Okay, awesome. Chuck, what's Defenders doing this week?
Defenders this week, tomorrow night on Zweihander, twitch.tv/ZweihanderRPG. We're kicking off Little Flames of Freedom. We're doing Boston Besieged, the adventure that'll be in the book that's on the Kickstarter. Wednesday, I'll be running some Cyberpunk Red, wrapping up the Jumpstart. What do we got? Friday on Defenders of Cobalt, we'll be running a DCC Halloween one-shot. And then Saturday, which is Halloween, we'll be running a DCC horror adventure over on Goodman Games Official.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. And Jeremy, podcast, where?
Yeah, Plewdcast, PLEWD. Hop on over. We're going to be recording a new one for a mashup of The Shadow and Innsmouth. It'd be pretty fun.
Awesome. And then for us this week on twitch.tv/Lollygaggers, I think on Thursday we're going to be doing like a non-GM game. I think we might do like a town called Malice. I'm not really sure yet, but you can come check that out, 9 Central. It's kind of just doing something where I don't have to do much prep. So you can come check this out that week. Otherwise, come back next Monday on our channel and watch us play some more Alien, where I kill kill Matt. If you know who Matt is, he might be in the channel right now. He's the guy, the Free League Publishing guy. I'm like, his character's basically dead already. He doesn't know it, but yeah, he's basically dead.
He'll
I'm
find
trying
out.
my best,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, he's been poisoned by a scorpion and he's dead. That's it. So thank you to everyone who hung out and watched. Thank you to everyone who played except for Jeremy. And and we'll catch you in a couple weeks. There's more great content on Free League Publishing this week. So keep an eye on the schedule, and we'll catch you later in the week. So good night, everybody.
goodbye.
Thanks for watching, everybody.
Bye.
Good night.